Chapter 5:26. Although the ice and snow underground had a suppressive effect on his soul power, after such a long time, Tang Ao's Jade Bone Life Spirit had already gradually counteracted this interference. Previously, the Jade Bone Life Spirit had increased Tang Ao's soul power even more than the consumption of the ice and snow. Therefore, Tang Ao's soul power had been increasing steadily. However, later on, Tang Ao discovered that the irregular changes in his soul power affected his ability to unleash his power. Therefore, Tang Ao adjusted the soul power increase of the Jade Bone Life Spirit to be the same as the consumption of the ice and snow. In this way, although Tang Ao's soul power continued to increase and be consumed, the total amount of Tang Ao's soul power remained the same. As Tang Ao rushed to the surface, he spread his soul power in all directions. After entering the snowfield, Tang Ao did not carefully investigate the things on the ground. When Tang Ao discovered that the snowflakes floating in the air could suppress his spiritual power and that there was a terrifying snowstorm above the snowfield, Tang Ao immediately went underground. Moreover, Tang Ao had stayed underground for a long time. Now that he had come up, Tang Ao wanted to carefully investigate the situation on the surface. When Tang Ao flew to the surface, the frost blood snake actually called out to Tang Ao anxiously again. Tang Ao's flying speed was extremely fast. After the frost blood snake called out to Tang Ao again, Tang Ao immediately stopped. The frost blood snake is a demonic beast of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Even though it has formed a spirit beast contract with me and its power has decreased slightly, it is still a demonic beast of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. But now that this guy is calling me so anxiously, it is obviously in trouble. Even the power of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing couldn't solve this problem. I, a martial artist at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm, should go and have a look. Although Tang Ao felt that the frost blood snake must have run into some kind of trouble that it couldn't solve, and something that even the frost blood snake at the 7th level of the Sea of Souls realm couldn't handle, it must be a big problem. However, Tang Ao had promised the frost blood snake not long ago that he would share honor and disgrace with it. Now that the frost blood snake was in trouble, Tang Ao did not want to break his promise so quickly. Therefore, Tang Ao went to see what was going on with the frost blood snake. If he could solve it himself, he would try his best to help. If he couldn't solve this problem, he would run away immediately. The beasts on the 7th floor of Linghai Jing were the strongest beasts that Tang Ao had encountered in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. However, Tang Ao did not dare to say that the beasts on the 7th floor of Linghai Jing were the strongest beasts in the secret realm. Therefore, even if the frost blood snake was stopped by a peak-level beast on the 9th floor of Linghai Jing, Tang Ao would not be surprised. Of course, if the frost blood snake was really stopped by the beasts on the 9th floor of Linghai Jing, then Tang Ao would not even need to think about it. He would run away immediately. Right now, Tang Ao was only at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm. Facing the beasts on the 9th floor of Linghai Jing, Tang Ao would not even be enough to fill the gap between their teeth. With a poochie sound, snowflakes suddenly flew up from the ground, and Tang Ao jumped out of the ground along with them. After jumping out of the ground, Tang Ao was instantly dumbfounded. This was because at this moment, Tang Ao was actually on a very steep slope. Tang Ao looked around and realized that he was not the only one on a steep slope. Instead, the entire snow field was inexplicably tilting. Chapter 5:27. However, the scene that Tang Ao had expected did not happen. Not only was the frost blood snake not being chased by a powerful beast, it was instead chasing after a snowstorm. This snowstorm was different from the one that Tang Ao had encountered before. The snowstorm that Tang Ao had encountered back then was enough to instantly kill a 4th level Sea of Souls realm martial artist like Tang Ao. However, the snowstorm that the frost blood snake was chasing now would probably not cause too much damage even if Tang Ao was caught in it. Tang Ao activated his sky-piercing eyes and scanned the snowy plains. With the sky-piercing eyes, Tang Ao discovered that there were many hurricanes and cyclones in the snowy plains. Moreover, it was not just the frost-blood snake. Many martial artists who had entered the snowy plains were also chasing after these snowstorms and cyclones. Tang Ao had used up a lot of his soul power underground. Furthermore, he had been suppressed by the ice and snow underground. Therefore, when Tang Ao came to the surface, he could not use his soul power as freely as before. Fortunately, Tang Ao now had the sky-piercing eyes. Even though his soul power was restricted, Tang Ao could still see what seemed to be in the cyclones of the snowstorms. However, Tang Ao was too far away. Therefore, even with the sky-piercing eyes, he could not see what was in the cyclones of the snowstorms. Therefore, Tang Ao summoned the battle Saint Bone Life Soul and approached the snowstorm that the frost blood snake was chasing. Although this snowstorm wasn't very powerful, its speed was surprisingly fast. It did not take Tang Ao long to catch up to the frost blood snake. However, no matter how hard Tang Ao and the frost blood snake tried, it was difficult for them to catch up to the snowstorm. Back then, when the frost blood snake had been the only one chasing after the snowstorm, the speed of the snowstorm hadn't been this fast. Tang Ao had seen it clearly from the side. Although the frost blood snake couldn't catch up to the snowstorm, it had brushed past it a few times. However, now that Tang Ao had joined in, the snowstorm speed had suddenly increased by 30%, and its attack power had also increased. Just now, Tang Ao felt that the snowstorm's attack power could at most reach the level of a 4th-level Sea of Souls realm martial artist. Because Tang Ao had the battle Saint Bone Life Soul, it was difficult for martial artists of the same level to hurt Tang Ao. However, after Tang Ao joined in, the snowstorm's attack power seemed to have increased to the level of a martial artist of the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Although this kind of attack power was far from being able to kill Tang Ao instantly, it was enough to hurt Tang Ao. Therefore, Tang Ao was secretly on guard as he chased. If he was injured by this snowstorm, although he would not die immediately, there were so many martial artists on this snowy plain. It was inevitable that Tang Ao would run into some hostile martial artists. Just like the disciples of the Dragon Transformation Pavilion, the Heavenly Star Sacred Sect, the Primordial Bai family, and the Primordial Ouyang family mixed in with these martial artists. Therefore, Tang Ao had to maintain his peak battle power at all times in order to deal with the threat that could come at any time. Under the suppression of the snowflakes in the air, Tang Ao's strength was suppressed to the peak of the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm. The frost blood snake was even worse off. It used to be at the 7th level of the Sea of Souls realm, but now it was only at the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm. Chapter 528. Feeling the changes in the spiritual power in his body, Tang Ao realized that although the snowflakes that were falling from the sky had a suppressive effect on his strength, after Tang Ao's strength had been suppressed to the 3rd level of the Spirit Sea realm, the suppressive effect had also started to decrease. After making this discovery, Tang Ao did not feel happy at all, because his strength had been suppressed to the 3rd level of the Spirit Sea realm. But the frost blood snake and the blizzard cyclone that he was chasing still had the attacking power of a martial artist from the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Although the frost blood snake was a demonic beast from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, its physical strength was also very terrifying. Even if it stood still and let the blizzard cyclone attack it, it might not be able to hurt the frost blood snake. However, after their spiritual power was suppressed, Tang Ao and the frost blood snake's speed had obviously slowed down. However, the snowflakes that filled the sky had no effect on the blizzard cyclone at all. Therefore, it was even more difficult for Tang Ao and the frost blood snake to catch up to the blizzard cyclone. While chasing the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao also activated his sky polar pupils. At such a close distance, although Tang Ao's soul power could also sense what was inside the blizzard cyclone. With the ice ant as an example, Tang Ao was worried that there might be something inside the blizzard cyclone that his soul power could not sense. Therefore, Tang Ao decided to use his sky polar pupils to check it out. Two bright blue rays of light rose from Tang Ao's eyes, and Tang Ao's pupils also turned into six-sided snowflake patterns. As the sky polar pupils were activated, Tang Ao could also clearly see what was inside the blizzard cyclone. After seeing what was inside the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao was also shocked. At the same time, Tang Ao also understood why the frost blood snake had asked for his help so urgently. It turned out that there was actually a dragon transformation grass within this snowstorm. The dragon transformation herb was an extremely precious heaven and earth spirit. In the entire black-yellow continent, it was absolutely priceless. It was an existence that could only be chanced upon. However, Tang Ao had never imagined that he would actually encounter 2 stalks of dragon transformation grass in less than half a year in the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm. In order to make sure that he wasn't mistaken, Tang Ao used his sky polarity pupils to peer into the blizzard cyclone once more. After clearly seeing the jade-green grass within the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao was absolutely certain that it was a dragon herb. With the dragonification grass, the frost blood snake will be able to transform into a dragon in a short period of time. Therefore, the frost blood snake was naturally very excited. However, no matter how hard the frost blood snake tried, it was unable to catch up to the vortex. Tang Ao also found it strange. This cyclone seemed to be alive. Every time he and the frost blood snake worked together to block it, this blizzard cyclone would rush out of the gap they had created. I don't believe that there's a cyclone that I can't catch up to. As soon as Tang Ao finished speaking, he instantly summoned all the life souls in his body. Following that, Tang Ao controlled the life souls to join the encirclement of the blizzard cyclone. As the frost blood snake couldn't catch up to the blizzard cyclone, it was even more furious. It spat out a breath of cold air at the blizzard cyclone. Due to the suppression of its cultivation, the frost blood snake's movement speed was much slower. However, the frost blood snake's attack speed wasn't much slower. Chapter 529. Although the frost blood snake's attacks couldn't hit the blizzard cyclone every time, it still managed to hit it a few times by accident. After the frost blood snake hit the blizzard cyclone a few times, Tang Ao quickly moved closer to it, and the distance between the two of them continued to decrease. When Tang Ao got closer, Tang Ao suddenly pushed out his palms, and after 40% of Tang Ao's spiritual power left his body, a dragon-shaped frigid aura instantly wrapped around the blizzard cyclone. The frigid aura's attack speed was already extremely fast, and this dragon-shaped frigid aura that Tang Ao had created was even faster. Therefore, Tang Ao's dragon-shaped frigid aura instantly caught up to the blizzard cyclone and bound it. After the dragon-shaped frigid aura bound the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao immediately used his sky polar eyes and summoned an ice crystal array around the blizzard cyclone. As Tang Ao's sky polar eyes spun, an azure blue array immediately trapped the blizzard cyclone. Then, pillars of ice appeared out of nowhere and completely sealed the blizzard cyclone. After the ice crystal array and the dragon-shaped frigid aura trapped the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao and the frost blood snake also arrived near the blizzard cyclone. The frost blood snake roared, and an extremely sharp icicle instantly pierced into the blizzard cyclone. When the frost blood snake's icicle pierced into the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao clearly heard a scream. "Is this blizzard cyclone alive?" Tang Ao said with a shocked expression. Compared to Tang Ao's shock, the frost blood snake was extremely excited. After the frost blood snake broke through the blizzard cyclone, it immediately broke the icicle that Tang Ao had used to seal the blizzard cyclone, and then came to the center of the ice crystal array. After the frost blood snake broke through the blizzard cyclone actually slowly disappeared. After the blizzard cyclone disappeared, Tang Ao naturally stopped the ice crystal array. At that moment, the dragon grass lay quietly in the center of the ice crystal array. When the frost blood snake got close to the dragon herb, it happily swam around it. However, without Tang Ao's approval, the frost blood snake did not dare to eat the dragon grass. This was because the frost blood snake knew that the blizzard cyclone was caught by Tang Ao, so the dragon grass also belonged to Tang Ao. Tang Ao walked over to the dragon transformation grass and picked it up. After carefully inspecting it, Tang Ao confirmed that it was indeed a priceless dragon transformation grass, and there were no problems with it. As long as the frost blood snake consumed the dragonification grass, it would definitely be able to evolve into an ice dragon. However, the frost blood snake was an ancient species. It would be a pity if it could only evolve into an ice dragon. Therefore, Tang Ao put the dragon grass away. He planned to let the frost blood snake eat it when he found other ice-type treasures in the future so that it could evolve into a higher-level dragon. The frost blood snake did not understand Tang Ao's thoughts at all. After the frost blood snake saw that Tang Ao had put the dragon grass away, it powerlessly fell to the ground. In that instant, the frost blood snake seemed to have lost its dreams. Seeing the frost blood snake like this, Tang Ao was secretly amused. Therefore, he showed the frost blood snake the dragon grass and the blazing true gold that Tang had consumed when she had evolved. Chapter 530. After Tang Ao put away the dragon grass, he was about to chase after the other blizzard cyclones with the frost blood snake. This was because Tang Ao had just noticed that there was a priceless treasure in each of the blizzard cyclones that had suddenly appeared on the snowfield. However, Tang Ao had only taken 2 steps when he immediately realized that something was wrong. This was because a small part of Tang Ao's life force had actually flowed away. The loss of life force was a very dangerous thing, especially after Tang Ao had seen the skeleton from 10,000 years ago die due to the loss of life force in the snow cave onto the snowfield. Tang Ao had become very sensitive to life force. This was because the jade bone life soul in Tang Ao's body had been nourishing Tang Ao's soul and body, watching over Tang Ao's life force. Therefore, the moment his life force changed, Tang Ao had sensed it. After sensing the abnormality in his body, Tang Ao signaled the frost blood snake to stop. Then, Tang Ao immediately sat down cross-legged and checked the situation in his body. In a perception of Tang Ao's vast soul power, his life force had slightly changed. Because martial artists usually only paid attention to the spiritual power and physical body in their bodies, very few martial artists would pay attention to the state of their life force unless they encountered a life or death situation. However, after Tang Ao had seen the peak of the 9th floor of Ling Haijing's skeleton die due to the loss of life force, Tang Ao had become abnormally sensitive to life force. Just now, Tang Ao did not sense how his life force had decreased, but Tang Ao was sure that although his life force had returned to normal under the nourishment of the Jade Bone Life Soul, his life force had indeed decreased just now. Due to the nourishment of the Jade Bone Life Soul, Tang Ao's life force had quickly recovered, so the abnormality in his life force was not very obvious. However, the Frost Blood Snake did not have the Jade Bone Life Soul, so the loss of life force should be very obvious now. At this thought, Tang Ao immediately enveloped the Frost Blood Snake with his soul power. Just as Tang Ao had expected, the Frost Blood Snake had lost 30% of its life force in such a short time. However, for a demonic beast like the Frost Blood Snake, as long as its physical body and soul weren't too damaged, it would quickly recover its vitality. It was the same for martial artists, but the recovery speed of martial artists was slightly slower than these monstrous beasts. However, warriors could also use some secret techniques and life spirits to speed up the recovery of their vitality. Just like Tang Ao's Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul. If not for Tang Ao constantly paying attention to his vitality, Tang Ao's vitality would have been completely restored by the Jade Bone Vitality Life Soul without him noticing it. After confirming that his vitality had been inexplicably drained just now, Tang Ao also carefully recalled everything that happened after he came to the surface, but Tang Ao had no idea how his vitality had been drained. After thinking about it carefully again, Tang Ao still could not remember anything. After sighing helplessly, Tang Ao and the frost blood snake chased after a snowstorm. Every blizzard cyclone here has a priceless treasure. Tang Ao is currently short of money, so this is the perfect opportunity to fish up a fortune. At the same time, Tang Ao vaguely felt that the loss of his vitality might have something to do with this strange snowstorm. After coming to the snowfield for such a long time, Tang Ao's soul power had gradually recovered. Chapter 531. At this moment, Tang Ao's soul power was almost equivalent to that of the warriors on the 9th floor of Linghai Jing. Therefore, when Tang Ao probed these warriors, they didn't notice at all. After Tang Ao spread his vast soul power, all the warriors around him were under Tang Ao's soul power detection. After Tang Ao's investigation, he discovered that these warriors' life force was actually flowing away to different degrees. Those who lost the most life force obtained the most treasures, while those who lost the least life force had not obtained anything yet. With this discovery, Tang Ao was completely sure that the loss of his life force had something to do with these strange blizzard cyclones. When Tang Ao first arrived at this snowfield, although there was a very powerful snowstorm cyclone in this snowfield, Tang Ao was sure that there was no heavenly material or earthly treasure inside the snowstorm cyclone. However, at this moment, there was a priceless treasure in each of these strange blizzard cyclones. As the warriors chased after these cyclones, their life force was also continuously flowing away. In other words, their life force was being devoured by these strange blizzard cyclones. However, Tang Ao was only at the stage of speculation. This was because Tang Ao hadn't personally seen or detected the blizzard cyclones devouring the warrior's life force. When the frost blood snake hit the blizzard cyclones with an icicle just now, the blizzard cyclones had clearly let out a mournful cry. From then on, Tang Ao suspected that the blizzard cyclones were alive. Now that he saw the warriors chasing after the blizzard cyclones losing their life force to different degrees, Tang Ao was even more suspicious of the blizzard cyclones. Just as Tang Ao was thinking, another blizzard cyclones appeared in front of Tang Ao and the frost blood snake. The blizzard cyclones with the dragonization grass just now were only as strong as the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. The cyclone in front of Tang Ao and the frost blood snake was as strong as the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. The 7th floor of Linghai Jing had the same strength as the frost blood snake. In other words, in the face of such a cyclone, even the frost blood snake, with its thick skin and thick flesh, would not be able to use its powerful body to withstand the blizzard cyclone. As for Tang Ao, although Tang Ao had the 24 firmament battle Sagebone life soul, Tang Ao could only avoid such a blizzard cyclone. With Tang Ao's current strength, if he were to be hit by such a cyclone, even if he didn't die immediately, he would inevitably be severely injured and die. Therefore, after discovering this cyclone, while Tang Ao was excited, he was also secretly vigilant. The reason why Tang Ao was excited was because there was a bow inside the cyclone. Moreover, Tang Ao recognized this bow. It was the sect treasure of the heavenly Bao martial school in his previous life, the primordial sacred sky Bao. When Tang Ao broke into the heavenly Bao martial school, he fought against the 8 great elders of the school without losing. In the end, the great elder of the heavenly Bao martial school used the primordial sacred sky Bao to beat back Tang Ao, who was at the peak of astral reaching realm level 9. Tang Ao had suffered because of this Bao. Therefore, as soon as he saw the primordial sacred sky Bao, Tang Ao immediately recognized it. Looking at the primordial sacred sky Bao in the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao couldn't help but want it. However, Tang Ao also understood that with his and the frost blood snake's current strength, it would still be very difficult to get this primordial sacred sky Bao. Right now, Tang Ao and the frost blood snake's cultivation were both suppressed to the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm, and they were slowly falling toward the 2nd level. Chapter 532. Therefore, although Tang Ao coveted the primordial sacred sky Bao in the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao also knew that he had to act carefully. Otherwise, he would inevitably end up like the warriors who had been killed by the blizzard cyclone. Compared to the blizzard cyclone that contained the dragon grass, the speed of this blizzard cyclone was much slower. Tang Ao and the frost blood snake quickly caught up to the blizzard cyclone under the pincer attack. However, Tang Ao and the frost blood snake did not rashly approach it. Therefore, the aura emitted by the blizzard cyclone was as strong as the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. The air around the blizzard cyclone let out a series of explosive sounds due to its high-speed rotation. Although it wasn't moving very fast, the high-speed rotation of the cyclone in the blizzard cyclone was astonishingly fast. With his previous experience, Tang Ao attacked the blizzard cyclone from afar. However, Tang Ao did not use the sky polar eyes. Instead, he used the mystic frost chi. However, this time, Tang Ao's mystic frost chi did not directly bombard the blizzard cyclone with ice breath. Instead, it turned into more than 10 icicles in midair and shot towards the center of the blizzard cyclone. While Tang Ao attacked the blizzard cyclone, the frost blood snake also began attacking. The frost blood snake opened its mouth and shot an extremely sharp and bone-chilling icicle at the blizzard cyclone. However, whether it was Tang Ao's icicles or the frost blood snake's icicles, they were completely crushed by the blizzard cyclone the moment they collided with it. The moment the icicles were shattered by the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao clearly felt that a lot of his vitality had been sucked out of his body. Just now, Tang Ao's vitality had been restored to normal by the Jade Bone Life Soul. The Frost Blood Snake's vitality had also been restored by Tang Ao's Jade Bone Life Soul. But now, whether it was Tang Ao or the Frost Blood Snake, a trace of their vitality had been extracted. With this discovery, Tang Ao shot out another icicle. The moment the icicle hit the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao found that his life force was sucked away again. Now, Tang Ao was completely sure that although he didn't know if this blizzard cyclone was a living thing, it definitely had the ability to suck away a warrior's life force. With this discovery, Tang Ao immediately ordered the Frost Blood Snake to stop. At the same time, Tang Ao also looked at the warriors around him. Finally, the first warrior to die due to his life force being sucked out appeared. Not far from Tang Ao and the Frost Blood Snake, a man was hugging a girl in a daze. There weren't any injuries on the girl's body, but both her soul power and spiritual power had not completely dissipated because she had just died. However, this girl had really died. Tang Ao felt a little helpless when he saw this. Tang Ao had only just confirmed that the blizzard cyclone could indeed devour a warrior's life force. However, before Tang Ao could spread the news, someone had already paid the price with their life. After discovering that a warrior had unexpectedly died, dozens of soul power instantly probed the girl's corpse. Chapter 533. Tang Ao knew why these people's expressions had suddenly changed. It was because the girl's group of 4 had already obtained many treasures in the blizzard. The girl who had died was the strongest among them. Although she was suppressed, Tang Ao could still tell that she was at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm with his sky polar eyes. Although there were a lot of martial artists here, most of them were at the 1st level of the Sea of Souls realm, the 2nd and 3rd level. As for the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm, as for the 4th level, apart from the dead girl, Tang Ao seemed to be the only one. If Tang Ao wanted to, he could hide in the snow cave underground right now. Once these martial artists had obtained all the treasures in the blizzard, he would wait for the mantis to stalk the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. However, although Tang Ao was not a good person, he would not do such a despicable thing. Therefore, Tang Ao only ordered the Frost Blood Snake to stop attacking the blizzard and did nothing else. Under the perception of Tang Ao's vast soul power, Tang Ao knew that there were definitely more than these people who had come to this snowfield, because the special ice and snow on the ground had a certain blocking effect on soul power. Tang Ao could not accurately sense how many martial artists were still hiding underground. However, Tang Ao could vaguely sense that there were still many powerful auras in the snowfield. In the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm, there were simply too many opportunities and heavenly treasures. As a result, the strength of the cultivators was growing at every moment. In the beginning, because the martial artist's strength was too low, they were far from being a match for the various demonic beasts in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, so this growth trend was not obvious. But now, most of the martial artist's strength had broken through to the Sea of Souls realm, and the most powerful by Zhang Yuan and the others had even reached the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm. This strength was enough to fight against most of the demonic beasts in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, and could even suppress a small portion of them. After Tang Ao's eyes were damaged by the golden-toothed snake lord, Tang Ao spent half a month recovering in the three-tailed snow wolf snow cave. Therefore, Tang Ao's original advantage was gradually being overtaken by these warriors. Although Tang Ao's soul power could not detect these martial artists hiding underground, Tang Ao was sure that there were more than 5 4th-level Sea of Souls realm martial artists hiding underground. Therefore, Tang Ao now began to consider whether he should continue to chase the blizzard cyclone on the snowfield and seize the treasures in the blizzard cyclone, or should he immediately hide underground and wait for these guys underground to attack the other martial artists. Then he could take advantage of them. However, rational and valiant soul power experts like Tang Ao were few and far between. As a result, everyone only looked at the young girl's party of 4 with greedy expressions, completely unaware of the dangers hidden underground. Because the dead girl was at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm, the 4 of them had gained a lot just now. It took Tang Ao and the Frost Blood Snake 9 years and 2 tigers' worth of effort to blast open a blizzard cyclone and obtain the transforming dragon grass inside the blizzard cyclone. However, because the young girl was at the 4th level of the spiritual ocean realm, and the other 3 were at the peak level of the 3rd level of the spiritual ocean realm, the 4 of them had broken through 6 3rd-level Sea of Souls realm snowstorms in such a short time. Similarly, the few of them naturally obtained priceless treasures from the 6 blizzard cyclones. Chapter 534. One of the young men looked at the crying girl and said, "Little junior sister, don't cry. Put away the 6 treasures on senior sister. I'm afraid there's going to be a fierce battle." But after the blue-clothed young man finished, the girl was still sobbing and didn't listen to him at all. After the blue-clothed young man finished, the white-haired young man next to him also said nervously, "Second senior brother, these people seem to want to rob us. What should we do?" "Don't be afraid. These people are only at the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm like you and me." Before senior sister died, although these people were greedy, they didn't dare to do anything to us. Now that senior sister is dead, these people want to rob us of our treasures. But although they have a lot of people, they are fighting for themselves. As long as we can escape into the snow cave we were hiding in, these people won't be able to do anything to us. Although Tang Ao didn't attack the 3, Tang Ao's soul power had been covering the 3 of them. Therefore, Tang Ao naturally heard the blue-clothed young man's words. After Tang Ao heard the blue-clothed young man's words, Tang Ao also nodded secretly. On the surface, the truth was just as the blue-clothed young man said. Because the snow and ice under the snowfield had a suppressive and isolating effect on soul power. As long as the blue-clothed young man and the other 2 could successfully escape into the snow cave, they would be able to escape unscathed under the siege of the other martial artists. But life wasn't always going according to plan. Although the blue-clothed young man had analyzed the situation above, he didn't know that there were still many martial artists eyeing the 3 of them. Under Tang Ao's sky-polar eyes, there was a 4th-level Sea of Souls realm martial artist slowly approaching the blue-clothed young man and the other 2 from underground. Soon, Tang Ao was stunned again, because the martial artist that the blue-clothed young man and the other 2 was approaching was not at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm, but had used some special method to hide his strength, causing Tang Ao's sky-polar eyes to almost make a mistake. Now that Tang Ao took a closer look, Tang Ao realized that this person was actually a martial artist from the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. When he saw that the blue-clothed youth and the other two weren't paying attention to the ground, Tang Ao used his soul power to speak to the young girl who was crying on the ground. "Little girl, there are enemies underground." After Tang Ao finished speaking, he guided the young girl's soul power to explore the ground and discovered the martial artist who was constantly approaching the three of them. After hearing Tang Ao's voice, the girl was startled and immediately looked around. However, even after watching for a long time, the young girl still didn't know who was talking to her. After Tang Ao guided her soul power to detect the martial artist underground, Chi Wei immediately cried out in alarm. "Second senior apprentice brother, third senior apprentice brother, there's someone underground." Although the young girl had been crying, after discovering the danger, the young girl suddenly became extremely strong. Hence, when Chi Wei spoke to the two of them, she also flew up with Grand Senior Sister's corpse in her arms. The moment Chi Wei flew up, the surrounding martial artists also attacked Chi Wei. And their target was obviously not Chi Wei, but Chi Wei's Grand Senior Sister. Just now, when everyone was chasing after the blizzard cyclones, they saw Chi Wei and the others break through 6 blizzard cyclones. Chapter 535. While everyone was attacking Chi Wei and the other two, a person flew out of the snow and appeared where Chi Wei had been standing. It was a martial artist wearing a black cloak. His whole body was covered in a pitch-black cloak, making it hard to see his face. On this person's back was a pitch-black, shining iron ruler. It was a very strange sight. Although there were countless martial artists in the black-yellow continent, and martial artists using any kind of weapon could appear. However, in Tang Ao's 2 lives, it was his first time seeing someone using an iron ruler as a weapon. This martial artist had the cultivation of the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Although he could hide his cultivation to the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm, Tang Ao could still see through his cultivation with one look because of his sky-polar eyes. As he saw through this person's cultivation, Tang Ao also found something unusual. Tang Ao felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity from this person. Tang Ao was sure that he had never seen this person before, and the sense of familiarity that Tang Ao felt from this person was not that of a friend. When Tang Ao realized that this person could adjust his cultivation and will like him, Tang Ao suddenly realized why he felt so familiar. Because this martial artist in front of him, whose whole body was hidden in a black cloak, was also a jade and stone hidden body. The jade and stone hidden body was very rare, but it was not unique. Although the chance of 2 jade and stone hidden body martial artists appearing in the same place was very low, it was not impossible. After knowing that this person was also a jade and stone hidden body martial artist, Tang Ao became even more cautious. As the owner of the jade and stone hidden body, Tang Ao naturally knew how powerful it was. Although Tang Ao's jade and stone hidden body had not shown its power yet, Tang Ao knew that there was more than one way to grow the jade and stone hidden body. Since Tang Ao was a peak-level astral reaching realm warrior in his previous life, Tang Ao had chosen a path of accumulation for his hidden jade and stone body. Therefore, Tang Ao's hidden jade and stone body would increase all of Tang Ao's abilities in the early stages. Once Tang Ao reached the astral reaching realm, all of Tang Ao's previous accumulations would explode, allowing Tang Ao to break through the astral reaching realm and reach a higher level. The peak of 9th level astral reaching realm was where Tang Ao had stopped. Therefore, after Tang Ao decided to cultivate in this life, his goal was to surpass this limit. However, Tang Ao also knew that during the growth process of the hidden jade and stone physique, apart from the gentle path he had chosen, there was also an extreme and bloody growth method. To a large extent, the fame of the hidden jade and stone physique was also caused by this type of jade and stone body warrior. This type of jade and stone body warrior used the essence blood of their enemies to train their hidden jade and stone physique, which would allow their hidden jade and stone physique to grow stronger. This type of warrior used this kind of method to train in the early stages, so their power would increase by leaps and bounds. After knowing that this person also had the hidden jade and stone physique, Tang Ao was not sure if this person was from the 5th floor of Linghai Jing or not. After all, the hidden Jadenstone physique had the ability to hide one's power, which even the sky polar eyes could not see through. Retreat first. After knowing that this person was a Jade in Stone Body Warrior, Tang Ao made the decision immediately. Before this person could discover him, Tang Ao and the Frost Blood Snake had already escaped underground. This black-cloaked warrior with the Frost Iron Heavy ruler on his back gave Tang Ao a very dangerous feeling. With Tang Ao's current cultivation, he could use the sky polar eyes to see that this person was a warrior from the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. However, Tang Ao was not sure if this was the person's real power. Chapter 536. As Tang Ao and the Frost Blood Snake dove into the ground, Tang Ao also left a soul imprint on the snow storm cyclone that was wrapped around the primordial sacred sky bow. The primordial sacred sky bow was something that Tang Ao was determined to get. In his previous life, Tang Ao had personally experienced the power of the primordial sacred sky bow. Therefore, Tang Ao had to get it this time. Legend had it that there were 1,800 restrictions on the primordial sacred sky bow. Every restriction that was refined would increase the power of the primordial sacred sky bow. In his previous life, the Heavenly Bow Martial School had gathered the power of 24 astral reaching realm warriors and refined it for 1,000 years, but they had only refined 800 restrictions on the primordial sacred sky bow. Therefore, when Tang Ao was hit by the primordial sacred sky bow, he did not die on the spot, but escaped with injuries. Since Tang Ao had reincarnated in this life, the big martial schools of his previous life had almost all disappeared. Even the top forces of the Black-Yellow continent, the 8 big sects, and the 6 big families of the Desolate Era, Tang Ao was not sure if there were any astral-reaching realm warriors left. 10,000 years ago in the Black-Yellow continent, the cultivation of martial artists could be said to have reached a golden age. At that time, Sea of Soul realm martial artists were as common as ants. It was not like now, where Sea of Soul realm martial artists could become elders in top sects like the mysterious yellow 8 major sects. Even in some small martial schools, Sea of Soul's realm warriors could become the leaders of martial schools. In Tang Ao's previous life, where astral-reaching realm warriors were everywhere and Sea of Soul's realm warriors were as many as dogs, this would never happen. Tang Ao did not directly dive into the depths of the ground. Instead, he went down for more than 10 meters before stopping. After Tang Ao went underground, the soul power that Tang Ao had just recovered was instantly suppressed again. However, Tang Ao's soul power was suppressed because of the heavenly polar eyes. Tang Ao could still use the heavenly polar eyes to observe the situation on the ground. After that warrior with the cold iron heavy ruler and a black cloak appeared, everyone stopped what they were doing. Even though this warrior was only at the first level of the Sea of Soul's realm in everyone's eyes, they still couldn't help but be cautious of him. This was because everyone could faintly sense a dangerous aura from this person. Yin Yan's cold gaze swept across the crowd. Then he slowly took out the winter iron ruler from his back. This iron ruler was made entirely of dark cold heavy iron and weighed 1,600 kilograms. However, such a heavy ruler was as light as a feather in Yin Yan's hands. This was because Yin Yan's spiritual energy had completely connected with the cold iron heavy ruler. Therefore, Yin Yan could use the formation carved on the cold iron heavy ruler to change the weight of the cold iron heavy ruler as he wished. Tang Ao hid underground and activated his heavenly polar eyes to the extreme to observe Yin Yan's actions. Tang Ao naturally saw Yin Yan take out the cold iron heavy ruler from his back. However, Tang Ao felt that this cold iron heavy ruler was very unfamiliar to him. Even with Tang Ao's eyesight, Tang Ao could not tell where this cold iron heavy ruler came from. However, even though he was so far away, Tang Ao could still feel a cold, killing intent from the cold iron heavy ruler. Just as Tang Ao was wondering about the cold iron heavy ruler in Yin Yan's hand, the The 6-light mirror on Tang Ao's neck suddenly flashed with a gentle ripple. Then, a book called Divine Weapon Manual appeared in Tang Ao's mind. After this book appeared in Tang Ao's mind, it immediately started to flip. After a while, the book stopped at a certain page. Chapter 537. After seeing the picture on the cold, iron-heavy ruler, Tang Ao instantly understood what the divine weapon list was. Simply put, this catalog was an illustration of all kinds of weapons. It was just that these weapons were extremely rare, so most people might not have seen them before. Tang Ao was a peak level 9 astral reaching realm demon lord in his previous life, but even with Tang Ao's eyesight, he could not recognize what was in Yin Yan's hand. However, after reading the catalog, Tang Ao also knew what was in Yin Yan's hand. The frost iron heavy ruler in Yin Yan's hand was called the 9 bone shattering ruler, a legendary weapon. The 9 bone shattering ruler's origin was not detailed in the catalog, but it did give a rating. On the godly weapon catalog, all the weapons were divided into 9 ranks. The first rank was the lowest, and the 9th rank was the highest. And the 9 bone shattering ruler in Yin Yan's hand was actually a rank 6 weapon. After that, the godly weapon catalog had some descriptions and battle records about the 9 bone shattering ruler. According to the godly weapon catalog, the 9 bone shattering ruler had killed a total of 46 astral reaching realm warriors. When Tang Ao saw the astral reaching realm warriors killed by the 9 bone shattering ruler, he even saw some familiar names from Tang Ao's previous life. Tang Ao was at peak level 9 astral reaching realm in his previous life, dominating the black-yellow continent. Tang Ao had beaten a lot of astral reaching realm warriors, but the number of astral reaching realm warriors that he had killed was less than 10. After a warrior reached the astral reaching realm, his power would be unimaginable. When 2 astral reaching realm warriors were fighting, it would not be hard to beat the opponent, but it would not be that easy to kill the opponent. Therefore, astral reaching realm warriors would usually die when they reached the end of their lifespan. Very few of them would be killed by enemy astral reaching realm warriors. Of course, it was not that there were no astral reaching realm warriors who had been killed directly. When the power gap between 2 astral reaching realm warriors was too huge, the weaker astral reaching realm warrior would definitely die on the spot. But even so, the fact that the 9 bone shattering ruler had killed more than 30 astral reaching realm warriors was still very horrifying. When Tang Ao saw the 9 bone crushing ruler, Tang Ao recalled the primordial sacred sky bow. The instant Tang Ao thought of the primordial sacred heaven bow, the divine armament register flipped through quickly. Then, he stopped at the page that recorded the primordial sacred sky bow. Tang Ao was not surprised that the primordial sacred sky bow could be listed on the divine weapon list. In Tang Ao's previous life, the primordial sacred heaven bow could be considered as the number 1 weapon in the black-yellow continent. It was unknown how many people yearned for it. However, as the primordial sacred heavenly bow had always been in the hands of the heavenly bow sect, facing the terrifying heavenly bow sect, countless people could only look on in fear. They did not dare to have the thought of barging into the heavenly bow sect to seize the primordial sacred heavenly bow. Of course, Tang Ao was an exception. In his previous life, Tang Ao was very curious about the primordial sacred heavenly bow. Therefore, he barged into the heavenly bow sect at night and searched bitterly for a whole night, but still could not find a primordial sacred heavenly bow sect. In the end, he even fought with the 12 elders of the heavenly bow sect and escaped after being wounded by the primordial sacred heavenly bow. The appearance of the primordial sacred heavenly bow on the divine weapon list did not surprise Tang Ao. But after seeing the rating of the primordial sacred heavenly bow, Tang Ao was shocked. The 9 bone shattering ruler in Yin Yan's hand was only a rank 6 divine weapon on the divine weapon list. But this primordial sacred heavenly bow was a rank 9 divine weapon on the divine weapon list. Chapter 538. Tang Ao did not have any good weapons in his previous life. But in this life, Tang Ao had decided to make this Bao his first godly weapon. Tang Ao's thoughts were quickly pulled back by Yin Yan's voice. Yin Yan's voice was as cold and deep as him. My name is Yin Yan. One treasure for one life. Leave the treasure and scram, and those who don't will die. Yin Yan did not say much, but his words were very clear. The 67 warriors present could leave one treasure each, and then they could leave. Otherwise, they would die here. These words were very overbearing, and also very infuriating. Tang Ao did not know what the others were thinking, but Tang Ao thought that this Yin might have the power to say these words. If the power matched, then no matter what you said, you would be right. If the power was not enough, then you better not say anything. This logic was very simple, but there would not be many people who understood it. At least, among the people present, there were not many who understood it. When the third-level Sea of Souls Realm warriors looked at Yin Yan, he was only at the first level of Sea of Souls Realm. But when the first-level Sea of Souls Realm warriors looked at him, he was only at the 9th level of Yuan Martial Realm. Therefore, the third-level Sea of Souls Realm warriors could still be cautious because of Yin Yan's mysteriousness, but the warriors who had just reached the first level could not sit still. These warriors had been training in the Black-Yellow continent for so many years, and they were only at the first or second level of Yuan Martial Realm when they entered the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. However, after entering the secret realm for half a year, these people had all reached the first level of Sea of Souls Realm. In their sects, even the sect elders and even the sect master only had this level of strength. Therefore, these people naturally became arrogant. After hearing Yin Yan's words, a young man with 2 blades in his hands laughed weirdly and rushed toward Yin Yan. Want Grandpa's treasure? Let's see if you have the power. When he rushed up, his speed was very fast, but when he flew back, his speed was 10 times faster. However, it was different from rushing up. The first 10 people he rushed up were all dead by the time he flew back. His mouth was still open, and it was clear that he had not finished his sentence, but he would never have the chance to finish it. His eyes were filled with shock, but there was even more regret, endless regret. He had already broken through to the Sea of Souls Realm. In the Black-Yellow continent, Sea of Souls Realm martial artists represented power and wealth. As long as he waited for the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm to end, even if he didn't gain anything from the Underworld Emperor Mystic Realm, he wouldn't be able to make any progress. But as long as he waited for the Netherworld Emperor Mystic Realm's trial to end, he would be able to enjoy wealth and riches. He would have mountains of gold and silver, and he would have beauties in his arms. But now that he was dead, all of this naturally had nothing to do with him. Therefore, before he died, other than shock, his eyes were also filled with regret. But in this world, the most useful thing was strength, and the most useless thing was regret. Therefore, no matter how much he regretted it, it was useless now. The dead man was full of regret, but the rest of the martial artists were shocked speechless. Instantly killing a first-level Sea of Souls Realm martial artist was not something to be proud of. Many of the third-level Sea of Souls Realm martial artists present could also do it. However, after killing a martial artist at the first level of the Sea of Souls Realm with one strike, no one could even see how he did it, which was extremely terrifying. Chapter 539. When that first-level Sea of Souls Realm warrior charged at Yin Yan, Tang Ao kept his eyes on Yin Yan. Although Tang Ao did not see how Yin Yan attacked, Tang Ao saw Yin Yan's body flash forward, then return to his original spot. Because Yin Yan's speed was too fast, it gave people an illusion. That was, Yin Yan did not move at all, and the first-level Sea of Souls Realm warrior who attacked Yin Yan died instantly. This illusion usually did not have much of an effect, because everyone present was a Sea of Souls Realm warrior, and their state of mind was very tough. But now, facing the strange and unpredictable Yin Yan, a lot of warriors were shaken. Of course, most of these warriors were warriors who had just entered the first level of Sea of Souls Realm. As for those warriors who had been in the Sea of Souls Realm for a long time, although they were shocked, they could still keep their cool. After Tang Ao saw the scene just now, he could vaguely estimate Yin Yan's power. Although Tang Ao also found it hard to believe, Tang Ao was sure that Yin Yan must be a warrior of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, or even above the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Thinking of this, Tang Ao could not help but completely hide his presence. 7th floor of Linghai Jing. This power was enough to kill Tang Ao. Although the Frost Blood Snake could also use the power of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, Yin Yan used the power of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing above ground. Because of this, Tang Ao guessed that Yin Yan might be a warrior of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing or above. When Tang Ao dove into ground, a Seas of Souls Realm 3rd level warrior also stood out. However, he did not hand over the treasure that he had gotten from the Blizzard Tornado. He could kill a 1st level Sea of Souls Realm warrior with one attack, so he did not listen to Yin Yan's threat. My friend, I am Mo Chi from the Godly Knife sect. Do you mean to say that you don't respect anyone here? After Mo Chi finished speaking, Yin Yan did not speak, and the cold face hidden under the cloak was expressionless. Yin didn't have much of an expression when he was facing a living person, much less a dead person. Although these people were still alive, Yin Yan had already regarded them as dead people. They could have lived, but they chose to die stupidly. Yin Yan was a man of few words, but he had a lot of merits. Yin Yan's greatest strength was that he was a man of his word. Therefore, as long as these people were willing to hand over a treasure, they would be able to save their lives. However, in the face of these priceless heavenly treasures, no one was willing to give them away. In other words, no one was willing to exchange these treasures for their precious lives. Humans were greedy, and there were very few people who could not be greedy. Therefore, there were many times when small profits could cause many martial artists to lose their lives in vain. Among the crowd of martial artists, other than a few who came late, most of them had more than 2 treasures in their hands. They only needed to hand over one of these 2 treasures to survive. However, at this moment, no one was willing to hand over a treasure in exchange for their lives. Perhaps it was because they did not know how powerful Yin Yan was, but it was more because of the greed in their hearts. Inside the Blizzard Cyclone, every heavenly treasure was a priceless treasure. Outside of the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, many people might not be able to obtain such treasures even if they spent their entire lives. However, inside the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, such treasures were easily obtainable. Chapter 540. Tang Ao would not leave, but Tang Ao would not show himself either. Although Yin seemed to have the intention to kill all the martial artists on the snowfield, Tang Ao was also powerless to help. On the snowfield, Tang Ao could only use the power of the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm because of the ice and snow. Yin could use the power of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, so even if Tang Ao went, it would be suicide. Moreover, Tang Ao was not related to these warriors, so there was no need for him to help them. Seeing that no one was willing to hand over the treasure, Yin sighed helplessly. This is your choice? Very well. The 3rd level Sea of Souls realm warrior who was talking to Yin just now saw that Yin not only ignored him, but even said such a thing. He instantly became angry out of embarrassment. Don't be too arrogant. You just killed a 1st level Sea of Souls realm trash. I could do it too. What's there to be proud of? Let me test your cultivation right now. As he spoke, a halberd life spirit appeared in his hand, and he ran back without hesitation. Although Mo Chi looked carefree on the surface, he was a very cautious warrior. He was so cautious that he would not make a move unless he was completely confident. Therefore, although he had missed a lot of opportunities along the way, he had never encountered any life-threatening danger. After entering the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, he had encountered more opportunities, but this habit of his had never changed. Therefore, he had also missed a lot of things, but he had made it all the way without any danger. The other 3 people from the Godly Blade Martial School who came with him had not even reached the Sea of Souls realm, and they had all died. However, he had steadily cultivated to the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm. After the death of the 3 senior brothers, he had cultivated to the third level of the Sea of Souls realm. This time, he would become the successor of the next leader of the godly blade martial school, without a doubt. Although there was no need to think about it, Emochi had thought about it countless times. Even in his dreams, he was still thinking about it. Emochi came from a poor background. If he could become the leader of the godly blade martial school, it would be a very glorious thing for him. The prerequisite was that he could walk out of the netherworld emperor mystic realm alive. If he could maintain his good habits, he would most likely be able to leave the netherworld emperor mystic realm successfully. However, Emochi was extremely tempted by the treasure he had obtained this time. After Emochi came to this snowfield, he didn't take the initiative to attack the snowstorm cyclones, even though he was faced with so many heavenly treasures. This was because Emochi vaguely felt that these blizzard cyclones were dangerous. At the same time, the things in these blizzard cyclones were not enough to tempt Emochi. However, when the cyclone that Chi Wei and the others were chasing appeared, Emochi was tempted. Extremely tempted. This was because there was a ginseng inside the cyclone. This ginseng was no ordinary ginseng, but the famous spirit sea cucumber. This spirit sea cucumber had 9 feelers, which meant that it could be used to refine 9 spirit sea pills. The spirit ocean pellet was a Sea of Souls realm warrior's dream. 1 pellet could increase a Sea of Souls realm warrior's power by 1 level, and 9 of them could instantly create a warrior from the 9th floor of Linghai Jing. Chapter 541. After Tang Ao saw Emochi escape, he secretly shook his head. If Emochi had some superior movement technique, he might be able to escape while Yin Yan was distracted. However, if Emochi were to run away like this, he would probably stay here forever. Although Emochi had already escaped some distance away, Tang Ao had seen Yin Yan's speed earlier, so Tang Ao didn't think that Emochi could escape successfully. As expected, after Emochi escaped some distance away, Yin Yan's figure flashed and chased after him. This time, everyone was paying attention to Yin Yan, so not only Tang Ao, but many others also saw Yin Yan's attack. Since Emochi had already escaped some distance away, Yin Yan couldn't come and go without a trace like before and kill without leaving a trace. Although among the people present, 3rd level Sea of Souls realm warriors had the ability to kill 1st level Sea of Souls realm warriors, Yin Yan's method of coming and going without a trace and killing without leaving a trace really scared everyone. Now that everyone saw that Yin Yan wasn't as scary as they imagined, they were relieved. The unknown often made people afraid, but now that they knew, they weren't so afraid of Yin Yan. If Emochi was killed by Yin Yan in an instant, everyone would definitely hand over a treasure to save their lives without hesitation. But if Emochi wasn't killed by Yin Yan, then everyone would make Emochi pay for what he said just now. Although Emochi didn't have any superior movement technique, his escape speed was definitely not slow. In Tang Ao's opinion, Emochi's speed was already outstanding among 3rd level Sea of Souls realm warriors. But unfortunately, Emochi's current opponent wasn't a 3rd level Sea of Souls realm warrior, but a warrior of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing who was known for his speed. Therefore, Emochi's speed wasn't slow, but Yin Yan's was even faster. With such speed, even Tang Ao didn't have any confidence in escaping. And after Tang Ao awakened the battle's Saint Bone life spirit, Tang Ao's speed was also the best among warriors of the same level. If Tang Ao couldn't escape, then the people present naturally couldn't escape either. Emochi ran for 10 breaths of time, but Yin Yan only used 1 breath to catch up to Emochi. And when Yin Yan caught up to Emochi, he also smashed the 9 bone shattering ruler. This attack was extremely fast. If Emochi even touched a little bit, he would probably die immediately. But strangely, Yin Yan's 9 bone shattering ruler cut through Emochi's waist without a single drop of blood. Tang Ao's sky polar eyes turned and immediately discovered the mystery. This Emochi had some tricks up his sleeves. At this moment, Yin Yan did not strike Emochi himself, but a substitute talisman. It was just that this substitution talisman was of an extremely high grade, and because everyone's soul power and spiritual power were suppressed to varying degrees, no one was able to recognize Mo Chi's substitution talisman. Even Tang Ao's skypolarity eyes were blinded by it. If Yin Yin attacked Mo Chi the moment he escaped, Mo Chi naturally wouldn't even have the chance to activate the substitute talisman. But because Yin Yin didn't chase after Mo Chi immediately, Mo Chi immediately activated the substitute talisman and escaped after running for a distance. Although Tang Ao didn't see how Mo Chi activated the substitute talisman, Tang Ao was sure that Mo Chi was still hiding nearby. Chapter 542. At this moment, Tang Ao was already 30 meters away from the ground. In such a deep, snowy area, Tang Ao's powerful soul power was completely wasted. If Tang Ao had come here immediately after his eyes were destroyed by the Golden Tooth Snake Lord, then this place would probably be Tang Ao's burial ground. But now that Tang Ao had the sky polar pupils, even if he couldn't use his soul power, he could still clearly see the situation on the ground. The snowy plains were already bone-piercingly cold, but the aura Yin Yin exuded at this moment made people feel an indescribable chill. A third-level Sea of Souls realm martial artist finally couldn't stand Yin Yan's aura anymore. He cupped his fists and said, "Friend, the things in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm are all ownerless. Since you value the treasures in the snow fields so much, I will take my leave now. I will not fight with you for it." Fanyu was about to leave when Yin Yan's cold voice came from under the black cloak. "It seems like no one agrees with my suggestion." Yin had just told everyone that as long as they handed over one of the treasures they got in the snow field, they would be able to keep their lives. In the beginning, everyone was still disdainful of Yin Yin, but after Mo Chi and the other first-level Sea of Souls realm martial artist lesson, no one dared to look down on him anymore. So when Yin Yin said this again, some of the first-level Sea of Souls realm martial artists even started to seriously consider whether or not they should hand over their treasures to Yin Yin. This snowfield was extremely vast, and at this moment, there were storms everywhere. Although Yin didn't allow them to continue hunting these snowstorm cyclones that contained all kinds of treasures, they could still go to other areas. Feeling the cold aura coming from Yin Yan's body, a few first-level Sea of Souls realm martial artists wanted to hand over their hard-earned treasures. But while the first-level Sea of Souls realm martial artists wanted to hand over their treasures, the third-level Sea of Souls realm martial artists didn't care about Yin Yin at all. Yin Yin could be said to have offended all of the 20-odd third-level Sea of Souls realm martial artists present. So after everyone hinted at each other with their eyes, they all surrounded Yin Yin at the same time. As the saying goes, 2 fists are no match for 4 hands, and a fierce tiger is no match for a pack of wolves. They couldn't figure out Yin Yan's true strength, so they obviously wanted to overwhelm Yin Yin with numbers. After seeing this scene, Tang Ao secretly sighed. In the black-yellow continent, it was not uncommon for a large number of ants to kill an elephant. However, a large number of ants had never killed a dragon. In the eyes of a giant dragon that roamed the 9 heavens, ants were not worth mentioning no matter how many there were. At this moment, Yin Yin, who was on the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, was like a giant dragon that was roaming the 9 heavens and looking down on the earth. The warriors surrounding Yin Yin were like ants to him. Just now, Tang Ao had speculated that this Yin Yin was at least a martial artist above the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. The hidden jade body in the stone was a righteous path that focused on accumulating strength, while the evil path was harming others to benefit oneself. Yin Yin had raised his strength to the level of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing in such a short period of time after entering the Underworld Emperor's secret realm. Obviously, the number of warriors that had died in his hands was not small. If the people on the snow fields scattered and fled, no matter how powerful Yin Yin was, he wouldn't be able to catch everyone in one fell swoop. However, when the warriors saw the 23rd level Sea of Souls realm martial artists surrounding Yin Yin, they didn't take the opportunity to escape. Instead, they stayed with the attitude of watching a good show. Chapter 543. While Tang Ao was preparing to make a move to test Yin Yin, Tang Ao's attention was still focused on the snowstorm cyclone that enveloped the primordial sacred sky bow. The primordial sacred sky bow was a 9th rank divine weapon, and its destructive power was naturally terrifying. If Tang Ao were to face Yin Yin right now, even with the help of the frost blood snake, Tang Ao would not have any chance of winning. However, if Tang Ao obtained the primordial sacred sky bow, then the situation would be different. When Tang Ao was a peak-level astral-reaching realm warrior in his previous life, he had been wounded by the primordial sacred sky bow. Right now, Yin Yin was at the 7th level of the seas of Soul's realm, which was incomparable to Tang Aoxing when he was at the 9th level of the reaching realm. Therefore, as long as Tang Ao could get the primordial sacred sky bow, although he could not kill Yin Yin, he would be able to protect himself. However, what gave Tang Ao a headache was that both Yin Yin and the snowstorm cyclone that enveloped the primordial sacred sky bow had the power of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. This level of attack power was already enough to wound Tang Ao. Even if Tang Ao was careless, it was not impossible for Tang Ao to be instantly killed. Therefore, what Tang Ao could do now was to wait and see while thinking about how to get the primordial sacred sky bow. Just now, with the cooperation of Tang Ao and the frost blood snake, Tang Ao and the frost blood snake had successfully obtained the dragon transforming grass from the snowstorm cyclone. However, because the snowstorm cyclone was only at the 4th level of the Sea of Soul's realm, Tang Ao and the frost blood snake got it easily. However, at this moment, the primordial sacred sky bow that Tang Ao wanted was in the middle of a snowstorm cyclone with the power of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. After being surrounded by a group of 3rd-level Sea of Soul's realm martial artists, Yin Yin did not make any moves. But when all the warriors were in position, Yin Yin said coldly, "Is this your choice? All right. Stop boasting. Although you are quite powerful, there are 21 3rd-level Seas of Soul's realm warriors here. No matter how powerful you are, you'll have to pay the price today." That's right. Didn't you want the treasure I got from the blizzard cyclone? To tell you the truth, if you want it, you'll have to step over my dead body to get it. After this person finished speaking, the other martial artists clearly wanted to say a few more harsh words, but Yin Yin beat them to it and said, "All right." Yin Yin only said one word, and, at the same time, he only made one action. As soon as Yin Yin finished speaking, his figure instantly disappeared from where he was standing. When he reappeared in front of everyone, the 3rd-level Sea of Soul's realm warrior who had offended him had already been smashed into pieces by Yin Yin. After killing the martial artist with a single strike, Yin Yin came to the martial artist's side. Then, in front of everyone, he removed the martial artist's storage ring. Mo Chi, who had initially wanted to fight Yin Yin, had dodged the attack thanks to the substitute talisman. However, the warrior who had died this time was not so lucky, because the instant the substitute talisman was activated, Yin Yin had already smashed his skull. After Yin Yin took the initiative to attack, the other warriors did not hesitate and all rushed toward him. Meanwhile, Tang Ao was secretly on guard underground. Once the opportunity presented itself, he would give Yin Yin a vicious attack. Of course, it would be best if he could kill Yin Yin, but if he could not, then he had to find the right opportunity to severely injure him. Chapter 544. While Tang Ao was preparing to sneak an attack on Yin Yin, Yin Yin was also searching for Tang Ao's position. Martial artists with a hidden jade in stone body would have a ball of warm heaven and earth chi in their dantian. The stronger the ball of heaven and earth chi, the stronger the martial artist with the hidden jade in stone body would be. When Tang Ao discovered that Tang Ao had the hidden jade in stone body, Yin Yin's hidden jade in stone body also sensed Tang Ao's existence. Thus, Yin Yin wanted to devour all the treasures on the snowfield, but he wanted to absorb and refine the heaven and earth chi in Tang Ao's dantian. After entering the underworld Emperor Mystic realm for such a long time, Yin Yin did not gain much. Until 3 months ago, Yin Yin accidentally entered a historical remnant, where he obtained the inheritance of the previous owner of the historical remnant. He inherited the previous owner's weapon, the nine-yin bone-shattering ruler, and absorbed the heaven and earth chi that the previous owner had preserved using a secret technique. Because of this, Yin Yan's cultivation instantly rose from the first level of the Spirit Sea realm to the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Yin came from a sect that was on the verge of decline, and when he entered the underworld Emperor Mystic realm, he was only at the first level of the Origin Martial realm. This kind of strength was undoubtedly a very low-level existence for those who entered the underworld Emperor Mystic realm. In the underworld Emperor Mystic realm, the strong preyed on the weak, and the law of the jungle was used to its fullest. Thus, Yin Yin naturally encountered some very tragic and helpless things. In the first 3 months of Yin Yan's entering the underworld Emperor Mystic realm, it was not that Yin Yin did not discover anything. Instead, after Yin Yin obtained treasures several times, they were forcefully taken by other martial artists. Thinking about his sect that was about to decline, Yin Yin was already in despair, so he jumped into a pitch-black and bottomless canyon. At that time, he was only at the first level of the Origin Martial realm. If he really fell into the canyon, he would naturally die. But now, he did not die, and at the bottom of the canyon, he discovered something that changed his fate. As the first warrior pounced forward with an extremely ferocious tiger-life soul, Yin Yin snapped out of his long memories. Yin Yin scanned his surroundings. These martial artists at the 3rd level of the spiritual ocean realm were all existences that he could only dream of but not reach before. But now, when he faced these people, he felt like he was facing ants. Tang Ao saw that Yin Yin was motionless in the ice and snow underground. Tang Ao didn't know what Yin Yin was doing, so he could only be vigilant, because not long ago, Tang Ao clearly felt a special wave sweep past his body. This fluctuation was very similar to soul power, but Tang Ao was sure that it was not soul power. In the past, when others used soul power to examine him, Tang Ao's hidden jade and stone wouldn't react at all. However, when that wave of similar soul power swept across Tang Ao's body just now, Tang Ao's hidden jade and stone unexpectedly showed a trace of movement. And on the ground, Yin Yin and a group of martial artists were already fighting. The nine-yin bone-shattering ruler in Yin Yan's hand was extremely powerful. At the instant of contact, it brutally shattered the summoned life souls of 3 martial artists. Then, without losing any momentum, it bombarded the other martial artists. Just now, everyone had seen Yin Yan's speed. Now that they were fighting Yin Yin, they could feel how terrifying his speed was. Chapter 545. After Tang Ao saw the one-sided situation on the snowfield, Tang Ao decided not to get involved. If these people could fight against Yin Yin for a few rounds if they joined forces, Tang Ao would naturally use heavenly polar pupils to help. However, these martial artists had no chance against Yin Yin at all. As long as they were grazed by Yin Yan's nine-yin bone-shattering ruler, they would be severely injured. After Yin injured 5 people in a row, the rest of the martial artists scattered without hesitation. If they stayed and fought, they had no chance of winning even if they worked together. However, if they escaped, they would definitely die if Yin Yin caught up to them. However, everyone fled in all directions, and no one could predict who Yin Yin would chase. Therefore, their lives were up to fate. However, despite their good intentions, things did not go as they had imagined. Yin Yan's figure swayed in midair, and 9 afterimages wrapped in black fog instantly appeared. These afterimages' battle prowess was equally shocking. In just one move, all the martial artists who wanted to escape were killed by Yin Yin. Seeing this scene, the remaining martial artists were all scared out of their wits. "I'm willing to hand over a treasure. Please let me go." A martial artist at the 2nd level of the spiritual sea realm was the first to give in and immediately begged Yin Yin. "Since you've made a choice, you have to pay the price." Yin Yin looked at this person indifferently, and the nine-yin bone-shattering ruler in his hand smashed over without hesitation. After seeing that the martial artists were no match for him, Tang Ao had already started to slip away. At this moment, Tang Ao was getting further and further away from Yin Yan. From Yin Yan's series of attacks, just now, Tang Ao determined that Yin Yan's true strength was at the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. As for Wei Yin, Yin was not suppressed by the ice field on the surface. Tang Ao had no idea. After Tang Ao was far enough away from Yin Yin, Tang Ao came out from the ground with the frost blood snake. Hiding underground and launching a sneak attack on Yin Yin was secondary. Tang Ao's main goal was still to obtain this 9th grade divine weapon, the primordial beginning sacred sky bow. With Tang Ao's current cultivation, even if Tang Ao used all his means, he still wouldn't have the ability to fight Yin Yan. On the snowfield, a snowstorm cyclone with the intensity of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing was constantly sweeping across the snowfield. Tang Ao and the frost blood snake followed closely behind the blizzard cyclone, because the primordial sacred sky bow that Tang Ao wanted was inside the blizzard cyclone. There were no obvious divisions in the snowfield, but it could be divided into 4 regions: north, south, east, west, and south. Yin Yin and the others had been in the northern region of the snowfield, while Tang Ao was in the southern region. The blizzard cyclone that contained the primordial sacred sky bow wasn't moving very fast. However, above the snowfield, both Tang Ao and the frost blood snake strength were suppressed to the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm. Therefore, how to break through this blizzard cyclone was the problem that Tang Ao had to solve right now. With a thought, Tang Ao ordered the frost blood snake to attack tentatively. Although the frost blood snake had low intelligence, its execution rate was still very high. As soon as Tang Ao gave the order, the frost blood snake immediately shot an icicle over. However, as soon as the frost blood snake's icicle touched the blizzard cyclone, it was smashed into ice shards by the rotating blizzard cyclone. Chapter 546. After the Heavenly Bao Sex Elder was defeated, the Grand Elder took out the primordial sacred sky Bao and severely injured Tang Ao, forcing him to flee. Even so, Tang Ao had never been so close to the primordial sacred sky Bao. However, this was the closest Tang Ao had ever been to the primordial sacred sky Bao. Hence, Tang Ao had to get his hands on the primordial sacred sky Bao. After the frost blood snake's attack did not work, Tang Ao was ready to take action himself. Tang Ao's palms gathered together, and 2 streams of dragon-shaped, mystical frost chi circled in Tang Ao's palms. After the 2 streams of dragon-shaped, mystical frost chi circled in Tang Ao's palms for a while, Tang Ao's eyes narrowed. He pushed his hands out and pushed the 2 streams of dragon-shaped mystical frost chi towards the blizzard cyclone. Following a dragon's roar, Tang Ao's 2 streams of mystical frost chi hit the blizzard cyclone that was wrapped around the primordial sacred sky bow. However, Tang Ao's sharp attack was the same as the frost blood snake's attack. It did not have any effect at all. When Tang Ao's 2 streams of dragon-shaped mystical frost chi hit the blizzard cyclone, the 2 streams of dragon-shaped mystical frost chi shattered and turned into countless tiny ice crystals that scattered on the snowfield. If water and ice don't work, should I use fire? Tang Ao thought to himself as he looked at the blizzard cyclone not far away. Under normal circumstances, it was inevitable that water and fire countered each other. However, after Tang Ao had failed to use fireballs to fight against the ice ants in the underground snow cave, Tang Ao had been using ice to fight against ice. As this snowfield seemed to be different from the outside world, Tang Ao's use of ice to fight against ice was very effective. However, Tang Ao had to re-examine the problem of elemental suppression. With Tang Ao and the frost blood snake's current strength, it was impossible for them to destroy the blizzard cyclone with brute force. Therefore, Tang Ao could only think of other ways to deal with it. Tang Ao clenched his right hand and a fireball instantly floated above Tang Ao's palm and rotated at a high speed. To break this level of blizzard cyclone, ordinary fireballs were obviously not enough. Therefore, after Tang Ao condensed the fireball, he made it spin at a high speed and constantly instilled spiritual power into the fireball to increase the fireball's lethality. As Tang Ao instilled spiritual power into the fireball's volume continued to increase. In just a short while, the fireball had grown from the size of a fist to the size of a millstone, and it was still growing. The blizzard cyclone that Tang Ao was trying to break through this time was constantly emitting the pressure of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, which made the cyclone seem extremely powerful. Therefore, when Tang Ao attacked this cyclone, he did not hold back at all. If it was ordinary ice and snow in the outside world, after Tang Ao condensed the fireball, the surrounding ice and snow would have long been melted by the high temperature of the fireball. However, in this snowfield, the ice and snow did not show any signs of melting even in the face of such a high temperature. Therefore, Tang Ao looked at the fireball in his hand and the blizzard cyclone in front of him. Tang Ao was not confident that he could break the blizzard cyclone in one blow. When the fireball in Tang Ao's hand reached a limit, Tang Ao shouted, "Go!" Then he controlled the fireball and fiercely hit the blizzard cyclone. Water and fire restrained each other. In a situation where other methods had failed, Tang Ao could only hope that the elemental suppression could be achieved. However, the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. The moment Tang Ao's fireball collided with the blizzard cyclone, the extreme low temperature of the blizzard cyclone instantly caused the fireball to shake. After a while, Tang Ao's fireball was completely extinguished. Damn, so brutal. Chapter 547. Seeing that he couldn't get his hands on a magic weapon that was right in front of him, Tang Ao felt a little depressed. However, Tang Ao didn't intend to give up at all. Now Tang Ao was in the southern area of the snowfield. The number of blizzard cyclones that appeared here was very small, so no martial artist came to this area to hunt blizzard cyclones. In addition, Yin Yin was in the northern area of the snowfield, which was the furthest from Tang Ao, so Tang Ao had time and patience to slowly crack the blizzard cyclone. 100 Battle Spear's Soul. Facing the blizzard cyclone of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, since water and fire couldn't work, Tang Ao had to take the spear himself. With a flash of silver light in Tang Ao's hand, the 100 Battle Spear Soul appeared in Tang Ao's hand. At first, it was a little transparent, but as Tang Ao changed his mind, the 100 Battle Spear Soul gradually became solid. The 100 Battle Spear Soul was the first life soul of Tang Ao in this life, and it was also the life soul that Tang Ao had used for the longest time. With the improvement of Tang Ao's strength, the 100 Battle Spear Soul, which was only at the 21st level of heaven, gradually couldn't keep up with Tang Ao's pace. Now, Tang Ao could use the blizzard cyclone of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing to hone his lagging life soul. Facing the extremely fierce blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao thrust the 100 battle spear in his hand like a dragon. At the same time, the 7-petaled green lotuses appeared behind Tang Ao in an instant. After a while, the 7-petaled green lotuses turned into 7 green lotus swords. While attacking the blizzard cyclone with the 100 battle spear soul, Tang Ao also used the 7-killing divine way to control the 7 green lotus swords to attack the blizzard cyclone. While attacking, Tang Ao's vast soul power also shrouded the blizzard cyclone. Although Tang Ao's fireball failed to break the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao discovered something interesting. That was the sharp aura of the blizzard cyclone had actually weakened a little after being attacked by Tang Ao's fireball. This amount was very small, so small that it could be ignored. However, Tang Ao could clearly feel that the power of the blizzard cyclone was decreasing. This meant that the blizzard cyclone, which was as strong as the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, could be continuously consumed. If a martial artist only used a single martial skill, the spiritual power within their body would be consumed very quickly. Therefore, Tang Ao instantly summoned all his life souls. 100 Battles Spear Soul, Green Lotus Sword Soul, Moribund Dagger, 10,000 Go-Seeking Souls. In an instant, more than 10 life souls appeared around the Blizzard Cyclone. Then, under Tang Ao's control, these life souls attacked the Blizzard Cyclone fearlessly. As Tang Ao's first life soul, the 100 Battle Spear Soul was the weakest among all of Tang Ao's life souls. Therefore, when Tang Ao's 100 Battle Spear Soul collided with the Blizzard Cyclone, the 100 Battle Spear Soul was covered with cracks in just one round. Seeing this scene, Tang Ao smiled bitterly and then summoned the Jade Bone Life Soul to let the 100 Battle Spear Soul nourish and repair it. Meanwhile, Tang Ao summoned the Battle Sage Bone Life Soul and rushed forward. With the enhancement of the Battle Sage Bone Life Soul, Tang Ao became extremely agile, and the strength of his attacks also increased a lot. Therefore, Tang Ao was always able to find a gap to throw a few punches at the Blizzard Cyclone, and when the Blizzard Cyclone's attack arrived, he would immediately retreat. Chapter 548. Tang Ao slowly let out a breath of impure air and looked at the Blizzard Cyclone that had been depleted to the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. This was the second time that Tang Ao's spiritual power was depleted. However, after exhausting his spiritual power twice, this Blizzard Cyclone had only been depleted to the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm. Who knew how long it would take to break this Blizzard Cyclone? As Tang Ao sat down cross-legged to recover his spiritual power, he secretly thought about how to break this Blizzard Cyclone and obtain the primordial sacred heaven bow wrapped inside. As he tried his best to break this cyclone, Tang Ao was also secretly on guard against Yin Yin, who could attack at any time. In Tang Ao's opinion, Yin Yin was like a madman. No one knew how many balls of Blizzard Cyclones had not been broken yet. With Yin Yan's power at the 7th level of the Sea of Souls realm, no matter which one he wanted, he would be able to break it open and take it out. However, Yin Yan didn't do that. Instead, he killed people and stole their treasures. While Tang Ao was on guard against Yin Yin, who could attack at any time, Yin Yin was still fighting with a group of martial artists on the northern side of the snowfield. At this moment, the northern snowfield could be said to be the bloodiest place in this snowfield. On this snowfield, there were dozens of corpses of martial artists lying in disorder. These martial artists lying on the ground were all killed by Yin Yin not long ago. Yin Yan's weapon was the 9 bone crushing ruler, so their deaths were naturally very ugly. On the white ice and snow, white and red blood flowed all over the ground. Most of the martial artists had their heads split open and their brains spilled everywhere as they died. After killing these martial artists, Yin Yin easily obtained more than 100 treasures wrapped in the Blizzard Cyclone. These treasures were priceless, and many of them were unique items that had a price but no market. Yin Yin alone obtained so many, which naturally aroused the jealousy of others. On the snowfield, the 2nd and 3rd level spiritual sea realm martial artists were all killed by Yin Yin. And the martial artists fighting with Yin Yin were 4 soaring dragon pavilion disciples. The 4 of them were all from the 5th floor of Linghai Jing, and they could be said to be jackals of the same tribe as Yin Yin. Before the soaring dragon pavilion disciple fought with Yin Yin, a cultivator with a human body and eagle claws fought with Yin Yin for a long time. However, that cultivator fled after being injured by Yin Yin. The Soaring Dragon Pavilion was a branch of the Dragon Transformation Pavilion. However, after entering the underworld Emperor Mystic Realm, the disciples of the Dragon Transformation Pavilion hadn't accomplished much. As for the disciples of the Soaring Dragon Pavilion, they had relied on despicable methods to break through to the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Although Yin Yin was strong, he had been injured when fighting with the cultivator with the eagle claws. Now, he had to deal with 4 Soaring Dragon Pavilion cultivators at the same time. Yin Yin found it somewhat taxing. In the southern region of the snowfield, Tang Ao's spiritual power had completely recovered, and Tang Ao was ready to start the third round of consumption of the blizzard cyclone. Martial techniques and secret techniques drained a cultivator's spiritual power at a shocking rate. However, life souls were rather special. Life souls could usually display the greatest might with the least amount of spiritual power. Hence, Tang Ao kept using his life soul to attack the blizzard cyclone. Chapter 549. Tang Ao's soul power was not suppressed at all on the ice field. So when two small fries approached him from underground, Tang Ao naturally knew it immediately. However, these two did not have any intention to attack him, so Tang Ao did not pay attention to them. The two warriors saw that the commotion above was caused by Tang Ao and a 6th-level Sea of Souls realm blizzard, so they immediately backed off carefully. Because of Tang Ao's hidden jade body, the two could not tell Tang Ao's real cultivation. Right now, in their eyes, Tang Ao was only a 1st-level Sea of Souls realm warrior. However, although they could not tell Tang Ao's real power, they could tell that the blizzard that Tang Ao was attacking was a real 6th-level Sea of Souls realm blizzard. Therefore, although they did not know Tang Ao's real power, Tang Ao had the power to fight against a 6th-level Sea of Souls realm blizzard, which meant that he was at least a 6th-level Sea of Souls realm warrior. Gao Jin, can you tell that brat's power? In an underground ice cave 300 feet away from Tang Ao, a silver-haired young man asked the golden-haired young man in front of him. Gao Jin really did not know how to answer Gao Yin's question. As the older brother, if he said that he could not tell that brat's cultivation, it would be too embarrassing. But in reality, he really could not tell that person's real cultivation. After hesitating for a while, Gao Jin said to Gao Yin, "This brat has some background. He might be a warrior above the 6th-level Sea of Souls realm." After knowing that Tang Ao might be a warrior above the 6th-level Sea of Souls realm, Gao Yin was shocked. 6th-level Sea of Souls realm? We are only at the 2nd level of Sea of Souls realm, but someone is already at the 6th level. Scary, scary. What is there to be afraid of? I heard that a demon from the 7th floor of Linghai Jing appeared near the northern region of the Snowy Plains. It killed all the warriors in the area. That is what is scary. As Gao Jin and Gao Yin were talking, a sloppy-looking young man walked over. Gao Jin and Gao Yin saw that they didn't recognize the person in front of them, so Gao Jin asked, "Who are you? How dare you eavesdrop on our conversation?" Hearing Gao Jin's words, the sloppy young man laughed. "It's not really eavesdropping. I just happened to pass by, so I heard it." Gao Jin looked strangely at the sloppy youth. "Passing by? Where are you going?" "I don't know where I want to go either. I just want to find something." As the slovenly youngster spoke, he slowly walked toward Gao Jin and Lu Ta. The sloppy young man's hands were hidden in his long sleeves. At this moment, his hands had turned into a pair of sharp claws. This pair of claws had injured Yin not long ago, but his heart had also been crushed by Yin Yan's 9-yin bone shattering ruler. Although Ing Jio's heart had been crushed by Yin Yan's 9-yin bone shattering ruler, he was not dead yet. No matter who it was, as long as they had 3 hearts at the same time, even if one of them had a problem, they would not die right away. Of course, Ing Jio did not die right away either. After his heart was crushed by Yin Yan, he took the chance to escape here. Chapter 550. After Tang Ao finished adjusting his breathing, he prepared to continue attacking the blizzard cyclone. However, Tang Ao suddenly discovered that there was a very uncomfortable fluctuation coming from the ground. Tang Ao immediately opened his sky polar pupil and scanned the snowy ground below him. In the snow cave, Ing Jio was about to attack Gao Jin and Gao Yin when he suddenly felt a powerful aura coming at him. Ing Jio was shocked and immediately put away his demonic eagle art. Tang Ao's eyes shone with a bright blue light, and under Tang Ao's sky polar pupil, everything in the snow cave was clearly seen by Tang Ao. Under Tang Ao's gaze, there were 3 warriors talking 3 meters below the ground. Apart from that, there was nothing else out of the ordinary. When he felt that evil vibration, Tang Ao thought that it was Yin Yin coming for him again. But when Tang Ao sensed carefully, he could not sense Yin Yan's aura. Strange. I did feel a strange vibration just now. Did I feel it wrong? Tang Ao looked at the three warriors in the snow cave and mumbled to himself. After looking at the three again, Tang Ao looked at Ingjio. Tang Ao did not know Ingjio, but under Tang Ao's sky polar pupil, Ingjio's power could not be hidden at all. Although Ingjio had used some kind of secret art to hide his cultivation, under Tang Ao's sky polar pupil, his cultivation could still be seen clearly. A 6th level sea of Soul's Realm warrior. There were countless treasures in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, so it was not strange for someone to be able to train to the 6th level. However, this sloppy young man always gave Tang Ao an extremely uncomfortable feeling. But as for the specific reason, Tang Ao could not explain it. Right now, Tang Ao was only at the 4th level of the Sea of Soul's Realm. Because of the snow falling from the sky, Tang Ao could only maintain his cultivation at the 3rd level. Not only Tang Ao, even the frost blood snake of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing would be suppressed to the 3rd level. Underground, Tang Ao's soul power that was comparable to the warriors of the 9th floor of Linghai Jing would be suppressed again, and he would lose his advantage. Although Ingjio did not show any hostility toward Tang Ao, a 6th level Sea of Soul's Realm warrior sneaking into the snow under his body without him noticing was still a very scary thing. There were countless treasures and opportunities in the Underworld Emperor's secret realm, and everyone was competitors. What Tang Ao wanted to obtain now was the grade 9 divine weapon, the primordial beginning Sacred Heaven Bow. Thus, Tang Ao had to be extra careful. Thinking up to there, Tang Ao summoned the frost blood snake that was running around in the distance. Although the frost blood snake's strength was suppressed in the snow field, its powerful body as a beast of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing was not affected at all. Even martial artists at the 7th level of the Sea of Soul's realm would not be able to break through the frost blood snake's defense if they did not have any special skills. With the frost blood snake right next to him, Tang Ao could focus all of his attention on consuming this 6th level Sea of Soul's realm blizzard. Exhausting the power of the blizzard cyclone was a tedious and long process. But for a warrior with a strong will like Tang Ao, it was not a problem at all. What Tang Ao really cared about was the sloppy young man at the 6th level of the Sea of Soul's realm. Chapter 551. After the frost blood snake came to his side, Tang Ao didn't immediately use up the blizzard cyclone. Instead, he followed it at a steady pace. Tang Ao had used all his life souls to trap the blizzard cyclone in one spot, so it was moving very slowly. However, now that Tang Ao didn't continue attacking it, it started moving again. Because of the sloppy young man in the underground cave, Tang Ao decided to wait until the blizzard cyclone was a little further away before continuing to use up his life soul. The blizzard cyclone kept flying south, and Tang Ao and the frost blood snake followed closely behind. However, neither Tang Ao nor the frost blood snake continued attacking the blizzard cyclone. Tang Ao used his sky polar eyes to investigate the ground as he chased after the blizzard cyclone. Due to the layers of ice and snow, Tang Ao couldn't use his soul power to investigate in the underground cave. Fortunately, Tang Ao had the sky polar eyes. Otherwise, he wouldn't even know when his enemies would come to him in this strange snowfield. The sky polar eyes observed the situation underground, while Tang Ao's vast soul power spread in all directions like a tide. After using the heavenly polarity eyes to confirm that no one was tailing Tang Ao in the snow cave. At the same time, Tang Ao scanned his surroundings with his soul power several times. There were no martial artists nearby either. All right, let's do it here. After confirming that there was no one around, Tang Ao decided to break open the blizzard cyclone here and take out the primordial sacred sky bow that was wrapped in the cyclone. The primordial sacred sky bow was powerful and extremely precious. Even if Tang Ao obtained it, Tang Ao wouldn't show it to others easily. Therefore, Tang Ao's current plan was to secretly keep the primordial sacred heavenly bow in his pocket without anyone knowing. After ordering the frost blood snake to protect it, Tang Ao immediately summoned a bunch of life souls to attack the blizzard cyclone. When the blizzard cyclone was still on the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, it often injured and shattered Tang Ao's life souls. However, now that the blizzard cyclone had been used up to the 6th level of Sea of Souls realm by Tang Ao, it wouldn't be that easy to injure Tang Ao's life souls. Therefore, Tang Ao's consumption of the blizzard cyclone had increased quite a bit. Looking at the primordial sacred sky bow wrapped in the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao was even more tempted. Although using life souls to attack was powerful and the consumption of spirit power was lower than using martial skills alone, it was still. However, Tang Ao was using all his strength to control his life soul to attack the blizzard cyclone. Soon, Tang Ao's spiritual power was depleted. After Tang Ao sat down, the frost blood snake had nothing to do, so it helped Tang Ao attack the blizzard cyclone. After Tang Ao sat down, the frost blood snake had nothing to do, so it helped Tang Ao attack the blizzard cyclone. However, the frost blood snake only used martial skills to attack and didn't summon its life soul. After Tang Ao formed a spirit beast contract with a frost blood snake, he knew that although the frost blood snake had low intelligence, it had still awakened a level 29 life soul. The frost blood snake's life soul was different from the 29th firmament life soul phantoms that Tang Ao had encountered previously. The frost blood snake's life soul was a genuine 29th firmament life soul. Moreover, Tang Ao had seen the frost blood snake's life soul in his previous life. This life soul was called the celestial ice marrow life soul, and it was extremely powerful. Chapter 552. When Tang Ao saw that the frost blood snake was helping him attack the blizzard cyclone, he was secretly relieved. Although this frost blood snake had low intelligence, it was extremely loyal to its master. Right at this moment, Tang Ao's brows suddenly twitched. In Tang Ao's perception, there was actually a bald youth chasing after a blizzard cyclone towards this place. This bald martial artist should be a Zen martial artist. It was just that Zen martial artists had been on the decline for many years, and Zen martial artists had gradually faded out of people's sight. In Tang Ao's previous life, the black-yellow continent was extremely prosperous. There were probably thousands of astral-reaching martial artists in the whole continent. But in this life, the martial arts seemed to be a bit weaker. According to the information that Tang Ao currently had, there were probably less than 10 astral-reaching martial artists in the whole black-yellow continent. Of course, this was only for now. This time, when the Underworld Emperor's secret realm opened once every 10,000 years, there would definitely be a lot of astral-reaching martial artists. The reason why Tang Ao thought of this was because in his previous life, among thousands of astral-reaching martial artists, Zen martial artists accounted for 10%. From this, it could be seen how prosperous Zen martial artists were back then. But in this life, none of the sects that Zen martial artists had passed down could enter the top 8 sects of the black-yellow continent. While Tang Ao was thinking, that Zen martial artist also chased after a blizzard cyclone from afar. At that time, it was different from the blizzard cyclone that Tang Ao was chasing. Although the blizzard cyclone that he was chasing was also at the 6th level of the spiritual sea realm, the speed of that blizzard cyclone was shockingly fast. Even if Tang Ao went all out, he might not be able to catch up to this blizzard cyclone. At that time, that Zen martial artist seemed to have mastered a movement martial art. As he moved and flashed, he was able to follow closely behind the blizzard cyclone. At the same time, he kept pushing his hands out, and golden palm prints kept striking the blizzard cyclone. Tang Ao glanced sideways slightly. The reason why Tang Ao dared to clash head-on with the blizzard cyclone was not only because Tang Ao was extremely confident in his strength, but also because Tang Ao had awakened the unique Jade Bone Life Soul. It could prevent Tang Ao's vitality from being drained when Tang Ao attacked the Blizzard Cyclone. However, Tang Ao didn't believe that this Zen warrior also had a Jade Bone life soul. He actually dared to continuously bombard the Blizzard Cyclone. Not long ago, there was a martial artist who had attacked this Blizzard Cyclone excessively. In the end, the Blizzard Cyclone devoured his life force and killed him. However, the Zen sect warrior continued to attack the Snowstorm Cyclone, but nothing happened. Tang Ao was sure that if he didn't have any methods to protect his life force, he would definitely die in less than 10 breaths under such concentrated attacks. Coincidentally, the Blizzard Cyclone that he was chasing was flying in Tang Ao's direction. When Shi Hong saw the Blizzard Cyclone flying towards Tang Ao, he hurriedly shouted to Tang Ao, "Benefactor, quickly dodge. This Blizzard Cyclone is dangerous." Due to Tang Ao's hidden Jade body, in Shi Hong's eyes, Tang Ao was only a first-level Spirit Ocean realm martial artist. However, this Blizzard Cyclone flying towards Tang Ao had the power of a 6th-level Spirit Ocean realm martial artist. With such a huge difference in strength, if Tang Ao was even grazed by this Blizzard Cyclone, he would immediately die. Chapter 553. Ice Crystal Array. Tang Ao's eyes narrowed as he activated his Sky Polarity eyes. Following that, Tang Ao immediately used his Sky Polarity eyes to release the Ice Crystal Array, trapping the Snowstorm Cyclone. Although the Ice Crystal Array was unable to completely restrain the Blizzard Cyclone, the speed of the Blizzard Cyclone instantly slowed down within the Ice Crystal Array. Shi Hongyi did not expect Tang Ao to have such a trick up his sleeve. He immediately took the opportunity to rush forward. Following that, Shi Hongyi waved his sleeve and a string of golden Buddhist beads flew out. In the end, the prayer beads tied up the Snowstorm Cyclone. Tang Ao was slightly shocked when he saw the string of Buddhist beads. There were a total of 108 Buddhist beads, and every single one of them was inscribed with strange Sanskrit characters. Tang Ao had only found out about the origins of this string of Buddhist beads not long ago. This was because this string of Buddhist beads was also recorded in the Divine Armament Register. The Buddhist beads were called Sakya Buddhist beads, and they were a grade 8 divine armament. Tang Ao did not expect that after the Zen sect had fallen to such a state, a Zen sect disciple would still have such a treasure. After Shi Hongyi used the Sakya Buddhist beads to trap the Snowstorm Cyclone, he immediately put his palms together and said to Tang Ao, "This little monk is Shi Hongyi. Many thanks for benefactor's help." When Tang Ao saw that Shi Hongyi was extremely polite, he also smiled and said, "I am Tang Ao. It was just a small matter. There is no need to mention it." After exchanging names with Tang Ao, Shi Hongyi hurriedly said to Tang Ao, "Senior apprentice brother Tang Ao, the item in this Snowstorm Cyclone is extremely important to me. I will take it out first, then I will have a chat with senior apprentice brother Tang Ao." Even without Shi Hongyi's words, Tang Ao also knew that the item in the Snowstorm Cyclone was extremely important to Shi Hongyi. The divine armament that Shi Hongyi had used earlier was called Sakya Buddhist beads. It was an extremely rare grade 8 divine armament. However, when Shi Hongyi used the Sakya Buddhist beads, he was extremely jerky. Shi Hongyi had completely refined the Sakyamuni beads a long time ago, so it was not Shi Hongyi's problem. There was a very special item in the Blizzard Cyclone that Shi Hongyi was chasing. Although this item was also a treasure, it was useless to anyone other than Shi Hongyi. This was because the Sakyamuni beads artifact spirit was wrapped within this Snowstorm Cyclone. All the divine weapons recorded in the Divine Weapon Register had an artifact spirit. However, the intelligence of these artifact spirits varied greatly. Some artifact spirits were even dumber than the frost blood snake, while some artifact spirits were no less intelligent than human martial artists. Many artifact spirits had existed for tens of thousands of years. In some aspects, they were even smarter than human martial artists. Of course, there were also some artifact spirits that had yet to develop intelligence due to various reasons. The Sakyamuni bead artifact spirit in this blizzard cyclone was one such artifact spirit. Right then, Shurhangi was already attacking this blizzard cyclone. Shurhangi's cultivation was at the same level as the blizzard cyclone, which was at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm. Originally, Shurhangi's cultivation was also being suppressed by the strange ice and snow in this snowfield. But when he got close to the Sakyamuni bead, it suddenly released a beam of golden light that covered him up. After being covered by this golden light, Shurhangi immediately got rid of the strange ice and snow suppression in the snowfield. His cultivation also shot up from the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm to the 6th level. As for the fact that he was a 6th level Sea of Souls realm warrior, Shurhangi did not explain. Because he saw that the blizzard cyclone that Tang Ao had trapped was also at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm. Therefore, Shurhangi thought that Tang Ao must be at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm, or even higher. Shurhangi had chased after the Sakya Buddha bead's artifact spirit for a long time, but he was still unable to catch it. However, Tang Ao had easily trapped this blizzard cyclone. Therefore, Shurhangi was even more certain of his guess. After Shurhangi caught hold of the blizzard cyclone, Shurhangi unleashed a barrage of punches at it. Chapter 554. In this snow field, Tang Ao could only bring out the power of a 3rd level Sea of Souls realm warrior. Moreover, the longer it dragged on, the more Tang Ao's power would be suppressed. However, Shurhangi did not have to worry about this at all. Under the protection of the Sakya Buddha beads, Shurhangi's power was not affected at all. Therefore, when Tang Ao was fighting against this 6th level Sea of Souls realm warrior, he had used his power of 9 years and 2 tigers, but it was only able to consume a little of it. However, Shurhangi was able to display a strength equivalent to that of the blizzard cyclone. Thus, after receiving several hundred punches from Shurhangi, the blizzard cyclone finally shattered. Then, Shurhangi waved his hand, and a milky white light ball flew into his hand. Shurhangi used a bit of his power, and the light ball was shattered. Then, a ray of spiritual golden light also entered Shurhangi's Sakya Buddha beads. Tang Ao noticed that after the golden light entered the Sakya Buddhist bead, a bead on the Sakya Buddhist bead lit up, and the Sakya Buddhist bead's coercion also became stronger. Although Tang Ao recognized that it was a grade 9 divine weapon, Sakya Buddhist beads, Tang Ao faintly felt that there was something strange about them. After seeing the trapped artifact spirit within the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao immediately understood that the Sakya Buddhist beads were missing an artifact spirit. However, even after the spirit had returned, the beads still looked weak and did not burst out any powerful aura. This made Tang Ao very confused. When the spirit of a godly weapon disappeared, it was normal for it to dim down, but after the spirit returned, it would definitely show something. However, after the spirit had returned, the beads were still as calm as water. Could it be that I was wrong? Tang Ao thought to himself as he looked at the beads in Shurhangi's hand. After Shurhangi had put away the spirit, he hurried over to Tang Ao. Senior brother Tang Ao, thank you for your help this time. This Sakyamuni Buddhist beads still have 37 artifact spirits that I have yet to retrieve. Once this little monk retrieves them, I will come and chat with senior apprentice brother Tang Ao. Hearing Shurhangi's explanation, Tang Ao finally understood why the Sakya Buddhist beads did not cause any phenomenon. It turned out that the Sakya Buddhist beads were different from ordinary divine weapons. Ordinary divine weapons almost all had an artifact spirit. However, out of the 108 Sakya Buddhist beads, there were 108 artifact spirits. Tang Ao used his soul power to search the Sakyamuni beads in Shurhangi's hand. He nodded and said, since junior brother Shurhangi has other matters to attend to, I'll take care of them myself. Tang Ao finished speaking, but he couldn't help but sympathize with Shurhangi. The primordial sacred heaven Bao that Tang Ao wanted only had one artifact spirit. Moreover, under the scanning of Tang Ao's sky polar eyes, this primordial sacred heaven Bao did not suffer any damage. In other words, as long as Tang Ao could break through this snowstorm cyclone, he could immediately take out the primordial sacred heaven Bao and use it. However, with Tang Ao's current strength, it would still be extremely difficult to break through this snowstorm cyclone that was at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm. If Tang Ao and Shi Hong had known each other for a long time, Tang Ao would really want to ask Shi Hong for help. However, Tang Ao and Shi Hong had only met for the first time, and they were strangers who met by chance. Moreover, Shi Hong still had important matters to attend to, so it would not be appropriate for Tang Ao to ask him to help him break through this snowstorm cyclone. Chapter 555. After Shi Hong left, Tang Ao was still sitting cross-legged on the snowy plains. Just now, Tang Ao had used the sky polar pupil to help Shi Hong stop the blizzard cyclone that he was chasing. Although Tang Ao had said it was nothing, it was actually not the case. Using the sky polar pupil to summon the ice crystal great array just now had consumed 30% of Tang Ao's spiritual power. When Tang Ao summoned the ice crystal great array, other than to help Shi Hong stop the blizzard cyclone, he also wanted to intimidate Shi Hong. There were very few martial artists on this snowy plains. Up until now, Tang Ao had only seen one martial artist at the 6th level of the Sea of Souls realm like Shi Hong. Even the sloppy youth who had snuck into the snow cave under Tang Ao not long ago was only on the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. Something must have happened. For so many martial artists to suddenly appear on this snowy plains, and they were all experts, something must have happened. Tang Ao had always been careful, but this time, Tang Ao had been overthinking things. Jiao, who was in the snow cave underground, had escaped here because he had been defeated by Yin Yin in the northern snowy plains, and this Shi Hong had chased after the blizzard cyclone. Although Tang Ao had been overthinking things this time, it was better to be safe than sorry. In this underworld emperor's secret realm, where martial artists fought and killed each other, there was no harm in being more cautious. After Tang Ao had completely recovered his spiritual power, Tang Ao spread out his vast soul power in all directions like a tide. At the same time, Tang Ao's eyes flashed with a crystal blue light. As he used his soul power to investigate, Tang Ao also used his sky polar pupil to observe the surroundings. It was best that nothing had happened. If something had really happened here, Tang Ao would have been able to discover it in time. But regardless of whether it was Tang Ao's soul power or the heavenly polarity pupils, nothing was out of the ordinary. Seeing this, Tang Ao also concentrated and began to consume the blizzard cyclone. Under Tang Ao's continuous consumption, just now, this mass of blizzard cyclone had already shrunk from the 6th level of the spiritual ocean realm to the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. In the beginning, when the blizzard cyclone was at the strength of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, Tang Ao's life soul was often injured or even shattered by the blizzard cyclone. But later on, this tornado only had the power of the 6th level of the Seas of Souls realm. Although Tang Ao still could not fight it head-on, Tang Ao could already use some tricks to wear out the power of this tornado. But now, after the power of this blizzard cyclone had been used up to the 5th floor of Linghai Jing, Tang Ao could finally be like Shi Hong earlier, blasting at the blizzard cyclone. Tang Ao's original cultivation was at the 4th level of the Seas of Souls realm. Although Tang Ao's power had been suppressed to the 3rd level of the Seas of Souls realm, some of Tang Ao's attacking methods were enough to compete with the warriors on the 5th floor of Linghai Jing. After Tang Ao kept blasting at the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao's consumption of the blizzard cyclone had also increased rapidly. Before, Tang Ao had to take a break to adjust his breath before he could use up one level of the blizzard cyclone's power. But now, Tang Ao had used up the Blizzard Cyclone's power to the fourth level of the seas of Soul's Realm. Chapter 556. The primordial sacred sky bow was a godly weapon that Tang Ao had been dreaming of in his previous life, and he was finally going to get it in this life. Although Tang Ao had used up all of his spirit power multiple times in order to consume this blizzard cyclone, and his body was extremely tired, it was all worth it when he got something like this. Right now, Tang Ao was sitting quietly on the snow field with his eyes closed, while the frost blood snake was looking around vigilantly to protect Tang Ao. Right now, this blizzard cyclone had already been consumed to the fourth level of the Sea of Soul's realm by Tang Ao. Once Tang Ao finished resting, he would only need to attack with all his might to break this blizzard cyclone. Then he would take out the primordial sacred sky bow that Tang Ao had been waiting for. After adjusting his breathing, Tang Ao suddenly opened his eyes. Then he looked at the blizzard cyclone and smiled. Primordial sacred heaven bow, here I come. However, at that moment, a strange phenomenon appeared again. When Tang Ao first came to this snow field, it was wide and flat. But this time, after Tang Ao came out, the entire snow field was a bit tilted. When Tang Ao was about to attack this blizzard cyclone, the ground around him suddenly shook. Then, a strange wave swept out from the snow field. Tang Ao did not know what this wave was, but Tang Ao could clearly feel the aura of death coming from it. After feeling this wave, Tang Ao immediately ran into the snow cave onto the snow field. Tang Ao had been in this snow field for quite some time now, and he had discovered many strange things in this snow field. For example, the ice ants that could not be detected by the naked eye or soul power, and the blizzard cyclone that suddenly appeared on the ice field and disappeared without a trace. When Tang Ao sensed this deathly aura fluctuation, he wanted to break the blizzard cyclone quickly and take out the primordial sacred heaven bow from the blizzard cyclone. However, after this special fluctuation spread out, all the blizzards and cyclones on the snowfield actually sped up and flew in one direction. If it wasn't for the primordial sacred heavenly bow, Tang Ao naturally wouldn't get involved in such a situation. This snowfield was too strange, and Tang Ao wasn't in his best day at the moment. Therefore, it was inevitable that he would encounter trouble that he couldn't solve while walking in the snowfield. At that time, Tang Ao would really be in danger. Now that the primordial sacred sky bow had been exhausted by Tang Ao to the fourth level of Sea of Soul's realm, it was the best time to take it out from the blizzard cyclone. But what Tang Ao did not expect was that under this strange wave, all the blizzard cyclones in the snowfield were actually gathering toward one spot. After a moment of hesitation, Tang Ao still decided to follow. As a 9th-ranked divine weapon on the divine weapon list, it could be said to be an existence that could only be encountered. But now, this primordial sacred sky bow was so close to him, so he naturally had no reason not to take it. However, the blizzard cyclone that enveloped the primordial sacred sky bow was now many times faster. Even if Tang Ao used all his means, it would be difficult for him to catch up and take the primordial sacred sky bow. However, Tang Ao didn't want to give up. If Tang Ao had the help of the primordial sacred heavenly bow, whether it was for this trip to the netherworld emperor mystic realm or his future as a martial artist, the primordial sacred heavenly bow would be a great help to Tang Ao. Moreover, in order to obtain the primordial sacred sky bow, Tang Ao had exhausted his spiritual power multiple times. Tang Ao really did not want his previous efforts to go to waste. Therefore, even if Tang Ao could not catch up to the blizzard cyclone, Tang Ao still locked onto it with his soul power and tried his best to get closer. Chapter 557. At that moment, the spirit power in Tang Ao's body was rapidly depleting. As long as one was in this strange snow field, a martial artist's spirit power would be suppressed and continuously depleting. But now, The depleting speed in Tang Ao's body was more than 10 times faster than before. Tang Ao looked at the blizzard cyclone that was escaping not too far away and felt very unwilling in his heart. Damn it, with the speed of my spirit power depleting, I'll be completely drained in 30 breaths at most. As Tang Ao chased after the blizzard cyclone, he estimated how long the spirit power in his body could last. Right now, the blizzard cyclone was escaping at an extremely fast speed, and Tang Ao's speed was nowhere near its speed. Under such circumstances, if Tang Ao still wanted to catch up to the blizzard cyclone, he would have to keep using martial arts and secret arts to delay it. Right then, Tang Ao still had 50% of his spirit power left. With 50% of it, he could use his Sky Extreme Eye to summon an ice crystal spell, while the remaining 20% could be used to break open this 4th level Sea of Souls Realm Warrior's blizzard with his Moro Luo Bone Dagger. When Tang Ao first encountered this blizzard cyclone, it was still a blizzard cyclone on the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. But as Tang Ao continued to use his spirit power, this blizzard cyclone was now only at the 4th level of the Sea of Souls realm. Tang Ao was about to succeed, but he didn't expect something like this to happen at the last moment. According to Tang Ao's plan, after using the Ice Crystal Array to slow down the blizzard cyclone, he would use the Mora Bone Dagger to break the blizzard cyclone. Tang Ao had a 50% chance of success, but after doing that, the spirit power in Tang Ao's body would be completely drained, and Tang Ao wouldn't be able to fight in the next hour. If it was before the change in the snow field, Tang Ao definitely wouldn't have hesitated to do that. But after the change in the snow field, Tang Ao didn't know what kind of trouble he would run into. Therefore, Tang Ao was a bit hesitant, but after thinking for a while, Tang Ao still decided to give it a shot. The Frost Blood Snake had the power of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. After he got the Primordial Saint Sky Bow, he immediately told the snake to take him underground. On the snow field, the snake could only use the power of the 3rd level of the Sea of Souls realm, but underground, it would be able to use its full power. Although the snow field was full of danger, with the snake's power of the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, it would be able to handle most of it. Plus, the Frost Blood Snake was a problem that even a 7th level Sea of Souls realm warrior could not handle. So Tang Ao did not think that he, who was only at the 4th level, could handle it. However, the Frigid Blood Snake's intelligence was too low. Tang Ao wasn't sure if he could communicate with the Frigid Blood Snake after he ran out of spirit force. Success comes from subtlety, and riches come from danger. As a 9th grade divine artifact, the Primordial Sacred Heavenly Bow was worth Tang Ao taking a risk for. Therefore, Tang Ao's eyes instantly emitted a crystal blue light, and the Ice Crystal Array immediately appeared out of thin air around the snowstorm cyclone. Small ice crystals continued to condense, and then smashed into the blizzard cyclone in the ice crystal formation. Gradually, these ice crystals completely froze the blizzard cyclone. Chapter 558. After the blizzard cyclone was frozen, the Mora Bone Dagger Life Soul at the 24th firmament would definitely be able to break through the blizzard cyclone. With a thought, Tang Ao summoned the Mora Bone Dagger Life Soul. Tang Ao was determined to obtain the Primordial Sacred Sky Bow. Success or failure would be determined with this strike. Break! Tang Ao looked at the blizzard cyclone that was frozen by the Ice Crystal Array and bellowed angrily. Following that, he struck the Mora Bone Dagger Life Soul at the blizzard cyclone. With 2 crisp cracking sounds, the layers of ice crystals covering the blizzard cyclone were shattered by the Mora Bone Dagger and petrified. As for the frozen blizzard cyclone, it was instantly penetrated by the Mora Bone Dagger Life Soul. After a tragic cry, the blizzard cyclone vanished completely. After the blizzard cyclone disappeared, the Primordial Sacred Heaven Bow wrapped in a ball of white light fell to the ground. Tang Ao was overjoyed when he saw this. The Primordial Sacred Sky Bow, a 9th grade divine armament, was finally in his hands. Tang Ao strode to the side of the Primordial Sacred Sky Bow and grabbed it. When Tang Ao extended his hand, the white light enveloping the primordial sacred sky bow slowly dissipated. After the white light dissipated completely, a dazzling nine-color divine beam suddenly soared into the sky and streaked across the snowy plains. All the warriors in the snowy plains were shocked by the nine-color divine beam. Instantly, warriors everywhere in the snowy plains began discussing. What's that? Could it be that a warrior has awakened a powerful life soul? Legend has it that only a 36th firmament life soul can attract the nine-color divine beam from beyond the heavens. But that's just a legend. Furthermore, it's impossible for the warriors in this snowy plains to awaken a 36th firmament life soul. All of you think that this is the divine beam from beyond the heavens after awakening a life soul. Why do I feel that it's the treasure aura that surges into the sky when a rare treasure is born? I don't know. The divine beam doesn't seem far from here. Let's go take a look. When a large group of warriors approached this place, Tang Ao also pretended to slowly move towards the location of the previous battle. When Tang Ao saw the nine-color divine light soaring into the sky, he immediately realized that something was wrong. Now that Tang Ao had used up all the spiritual energy in his body, the frost blood snake could take Tang Ao underground, but it didn't know how to clean up the traces. Moreover, the frost blood snake most likely wouldn't have the time to deal with it. So Tang Ao didn't choose to let the frost blood snake escape with him. Instead, he mixed in with the crowd that had come to watch the show. The nine-color divine light just now was too eye-catching, and Tang Ao believed that among the many cultivators present, there would definitely be some knowledgeable people who would be able to recognize that this was the birth of an artifact, its treasure chi soaring into the sky. Therefore, once Tang Ao allowed the frost blood snake to bring him underground, he would definitely attract the pursuit of many powerful martial artists. Now that Tang Ao had used up all the spiritual energy in his body, he no longer had the strength to fight. Although the frost blood snake was strong, if several martial artists attacked at the same time, as long as the frost blood snake was stalled, Tang Ao would be finished. Therefore, Tang Ao used the method of mixing in with the crowd to escape the pursuit of these powerful martial artists. As Tang Ao mixed in with the crowd and rushed to the place where Tang Ao had obtained the primordial sacred sky bow, a young man in white suddenly appeared in front of the crowd like a ghost. His appearance startled the crowd of martial artists, but then many martial artists began to discuss. It's actually young Master Morong Xiao. I didn't expect him to also be attracted. If young Master Morong Xiao is here, then we won't have a chance anymore. That's not true. We only have a chance because young Master Morong Xiao is here. Young Master Morong Xiao is friendly and never bullies others. If you find the artifact, young Master Morong Xiao naturally won't fight with you. Chapter 559. Tang Ao noticed that the aura around Morong Xiao was still overflowing. Clearly, he had just broken through to the 7th floor of Linghai Jing, and the spiritual power in his body could not be controlled as he wished. If it was Yin Yin, Shi Hongyi, and the sloppy young man, Tang Ao had never seen them before, so he did not know their backgrounds. However, this Morong Xiao was someone that Tang Ao had seen in the first stage of the Shinnong ruins. When Tang Ao first saw Morong Xiao was only at the 4th level of the Spirit Sea realm. In such a short time, this guy's strength had skyrocketed to the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Tang Ao did not know how Morong Xiao's strength had increased so quickly, but many of the warriors around Tang Ao clearly knew. Because even now, many of the warriors around Tang Ao were still talking about Morong Xiao. Young Master Morong Xiao is indeed extraordinary. In the first stage of the Shinnong ruins, he refined 18 streams of life qi in his body. So, in the second stage, he reached the 18th floor in one go. His strength also soared from the 4th level of the Spirit Sea realm to the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. Now in the 3rd stage, young Master Morong Xiao is probably the first. When I was in the 1st stage, I only refined 3 streams of life chi, so I only reached the 3rd floor. I was at the 1st level of the spirit sea realm, and now I have only broken through to the 2nd level. 2nd stage? Spirit Tower? Tang Ao listened to the conversation between the two and was full of questions. Tang Ao originally thought that this snowfield was the 2nd stage of the Shunnong ruins, but it seemed that it was not the case. Before the snowfield, there seemed to be a stage that required one to climb up to some spirit tower. However, after ascending the spirit pagoda, one's strength would increase by leaps and bounds, and the higher the floor, the greater the increase in strength. During the 1st stage of the Shunnong ruins, Tang Ao had refined and absorbed the 81 wisps of spiritual energy in his body with his jade bone life soul. In that case, wouldn't Tang Ao be able to ascend to the 81st floor of the Spirit Pagoda? This Murong Shao had only reached the 18th floor of the Spirit Tower, and his power had already shot up from the 4th floor of the Spirit Sea Realm to the 7th floor of Linghai Jing. If Tang Ao were to ascend to the 81st level of the Spirit Pagoda, just how powerful would he become? However, what puzzled Tang Ao was that after Tang Ao passed the 1st trial, he arrived in this strange snowy plain and didn't see any Spirit Pagoda. Why did everyone else pass through the Spirit Pagoda, but why did he come straight here? Could it be because he used the Jade Bone Life Soul to devour and refine the spiritual chi in his body during the 1st stage? Although it was possible, this reason was a bit far-fetched. The stone tablet for the 1st stage of the Shunnong ruins said that as long as one could refine the spiritual chi in one's body, they could enter the 2nd stage. The stone tablet said that as long as one could refine the spiritual chi in one's body, they could enter the 2nd stage. Therefore, there shouldn't be any method to refine the spiritual chi in order to enter the 2nd stage. Thinking of this, Tang Ao asked the martial artist beside him, "Senior brother, I heard you say that you reached the 10th floor of the Spirit Pagoda. Does that mean that you refined 10 wisps of spiritual chi?" "I only refined 3 wisps of spiritual chi in the 1st stage." Senior brother is really amazing. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.